Good.
Indeed. Well, here we are, and another week, another 1,000 years. Sorry about that
Indeed.
short interview promise that was made at the end of the last show. PR companies got business they've got to handle, so we'll get to that a little bit later. But anyway, we were talking about something before we got on the air. Might as well just go ahead
You were.
because it's incredibly pertinent to the world of today.
It's relevant to how we're recording things
It is that.
directly.
It is that. Are you? There's a couple of things we could be inferring here because, of course, there's the recent
Oh,
revelation,
yes.
just a super quick, that it would appear that perhaps YouTube is shadow banning and blocking
Yeah.
links to Odyssey. Could you imagine?
No, it is. That is never been a thing before. Not once in their history have they just outright decided to ban a competitor like that in the most cynical of manners.
Yep. But that's just one thing. So anyway, what was it we were talking about again, there, Craig?
Well, on said
Mm-hmm.
platform, as I discussed with you, we'll get right up to where we left off discussion, short, sweet. Um, I was perusing the For You page. I saw a video by Smash JT. Uh, said Discord hacked, personal data breach, digital IDs cannot be trusted.
Fair.
Well, that seemed interesting, seemed newsworthy for the week.
Fair. Yeah.
So I went ahead and I Googled Discord breach. And what do you know? Update on security incident involving third party customer service by Discord on their press. First thing that comes up in the search results.
Hmm.
And they have a TLDR, very helpful. A nice little summary. And it includes some of their bullshit we can strip out at the end. So I said Discord recently discovered an incident. This is updated October 3rd.
Oh,
Discord
very
recently
recent.
discovered an incident where an unauthorized party compromised one of Discord's third party customer service providers. So the peons that you beg for your account back. This incident impacted a limited number of users. We'll get back to that in a moment. Who had communicated with our customer support and trust and safety teams. This unauthorized party did not gain access to Discord directly. That's good news. Possibly a lie, but that's good news. A lie of omission is probably going to be the right way to say that. No
Right.
messages or activities were accessed beyond what users may have discussed with customer support or trust and safety agents. So this is the first time I'm reading any of this, mind you. I didn't bother to look ahead, so I
So
just
the kind
completely
of
fell back.
like account details and credit cards, that sort of thing. Nothing big. Got it.
All right, so we immediately revoked the customer support provider's access to our ticketing system and continue to investigate this matter. All right, we'll just get to the last two, and then I'm going to discuss what a couple of these things mean and the things that are fucking missing from what they just said. Because now I'm a little upset with them. You were not mistaken in the cynical statement you made.
Hmm.
We're working closely with law enforcement to investigate this matter. You damn well fucking better be. And we are in the process of emailing the users impacted. So number, um, limited number of users. That's anything but all of them,
It is.
up to and including all of them. Actually,
Yeah.
that
Well,
means
that
limited number
there.
means fucking nothing.
Well, a limited number would be anything less than infinity. So, yeah.
Yes, an integer
So
number of
between
users,
one and between 0 and infinity users.
possibly -1, but maybe not.
Hmm.
Just fucking like that. The extra words here are not like say TLDR and they add extra fluff shit. And the last two, we're working with law enforcement. You fucking should be.
Yeah.
And we're in the process of emailing users impacted. That means they don't know how many users were impacted.
Well, super.
By the way,
Super duper.
we're in the process of emailing. That means either they haven't figured out how to make an email, or they had the time to figure out how to make an entire fucking blog post about it, or they don't know how many users were impacted.
Hmm. I don't know if any of
Now,
those answers are all that good.
when they say they revoked customer support's providers' access to their ticketing system, that does not involve anything else but their ticketing system. And when they say they continue to investigate this matter, again, that means they don't know the extent of exfiltration of data. They don't
Good
know
times.
all of what was taken, and they only know the limit of what could be taken within the certain parameters that they already know, which is that it was impacted by the third-party customer service providers.
Hmm. Up
So they know that
to
any data they provide them is what data could be accessed. But it's also possible they had privilege escalation and got in via, basically human intelligence gathering through other people. They just don't know yet.
kind of like those Pakistanis that worked for Hillary Clinton.
Isn't it just?
How about that? I mean, I'm saying that halfway in jest, but I mean, really, that's
It's not
about
that
it.
far off.
Actually,
That's not far
that's
off.
about fucking
That's
it.
the problem. It's really fucking disturbing how not fucking far off that is. So, what does this mean for users? I'm
Well, we
not
don't
reading their
know
shit
quite.
anymore. What is it? I mean, I'm no longer reading their shit because there's no point in reading the rest of this. It's all going to be fluff on top of the summary they gave. At least not, the context of our show at this point. I mean, I like that, they discovered an incident. It fell out of the sky. We trusted a third party, and oh no!
Whoever could have
Let's
imagined?
see. All right, now this part I'm just skimming here a little bit, just because why the fuck not? All right, so this part is relevant. I'll give them this. They're in the process of contacting impacted customers. They still don't know how many. If you're impacted and they get to you, you'll receive an email from noreply@discord.com. We will not contact you about this via phone. Official Discord communication channels are limited to emails from noreply@discord.com. So the point of the no reply thing, and this goes back to early days of email when people were doing more in-depth discussion with customer support via email,
Oh,
but they
Tom's
would
Hardware has
also
a
do
good
like a
article
lot
on
of
this.
a lot of times
I'll
a
throw
lot of
that in
times
here
that
for
would
everybody.
yeah. Let me copy the link for you anyway. Oftentimes customers say, in the era of 90s, early 2000s, you would engage in customer support via telephone or via email, and oftentimes the follow-up was pretty much via phone. And if there was stuff via email, they would ask you to send in important stuff because at that point it was not that it was secure so much as it was not a present attack vector that was very popular. Like it was there, but it wasn't like people did a whole lot of man in the middle or any of that kind of shit at that point. In the
It
mid
was a
two
different
thousands and later
time.
2000s, that became a big deal. But back then, it was just we'll gauge this. The no reply thing is meant to begin a contact loop whereby you are forced and funneled into contacting through official channels so that they can break any kind of feedback loop with a bad actor. So that's the whole goal there is to get as many kind of entry points into official channels as possible, and then have the ability to catch if a bad actor is attacking their customers, which is a good thing. So that's a good thing. So everything being directed only to no reply Discord is actually a good thing. It
Great.
sometimes can feel a bit frustrating to have to deal with going through their fucking website over and over again for different companies, but in the general, it is far better than the alternative. It's kind of the good thing that's been settled into with industry. Like the what happened statement. It's one sentence. An unauthorized party targeted our third-party customer support services to access user data with a view to extort a financial ransom from Discord. So they got asked for a bunch of money, is what it sounds like here. They did not discover this on their own. They were fucking informed.
Mm.
So I want you to gather the context of this, or what the implications are. That means they had no idea it was happening until they were told.
Oh, nice. A 0 day kind of deal. Lovely.
It's not even 0 days so much as they still have no idea how bad it could be. Like that should tell you that's okay. So they say what data was involved. Okay,
Well, they say
so
not passwords.
this is what they say was involved. That's fair because I don't see a fucking reason why a third party would have access to passwords or hashes. So they say the data that may have been impacted. So assume all is the baseline that a security professional would say.
Mm-hmm.
Um, was related to our customer service system. This may include name, Discord username, email, and other contact details provided to Discord customer support. So if you were a non and you were uh, paying or using an email that you did not disclose out in public would be associated with you, assume that's public now.
Mm-hmm.
And other contact details if provided to Discord customer support. That could include fucking anything. But again, that's relatively shallow as a data pool. Next, limited billing information such as payment type, last four digits of credit card, and purchase history associated with your account, if associated, but associated.
Mm-hmm.
So if you buy a Nitro, and you've done stuff with customer support, then that's possibly going to be out there. If you know, and that so the thing is, there's a difference between a possibility and a certainty when it comes to dealing with a bad actor. If there's a possibility, say you have a PayPal account, they might try your email out and it may or may not work, but that's kind of a guess. Now that's a cheap guess, mind you. But if you're operating on the scale of like millions of attempts, it's still that's an unknown. That's less certain. If you go and you get data from this that says this person definitely paid for a service using this account or using this service and using this email
Yeah, you can
and
confirm some
have
things for sure.
and then with the last four digits of the credit card you can, so that's not as useful,
Not
thank God.
not specifically, but it is. I mean,
Well,
if you're a
it just
shitty,
exists.
like if you're a fucking skitty or a cracker or whatever, then it is useful because you can just quickly cross
Well,
reference
you
all
can
your
search,
shit and say,
you can
okay,
limit.
this is still active.
So you can go to there are lists that are published within the black hat side of things, gray hat here. So let me flip my lid for a second. Not lid. Let me rotate. So there are lists out there of confirmed credit card numbers that exist for skimmers, and they'll try and do the whole PayPal thing where or for their duping, and but basically what they try and do is cash out cards. So card lists are out there, and so the last four digits will give you a way to narrow down all cards that are confirmed to have last four digits from a list like that. So, well, yes, that's useful. It's not strictly speaking useful. You're not going to be able to tell what card it comes from, like what company.
Oh,
You're
sure.
not going to be able to tell between Visa, Mastercard, Amex, that kind of thing. But it will allow you to say, okay, these are the last four digits out of this entire list. What has those last four digits? And sometimes it might be like 10 cards. That's 10 attempts for a single user, and you spread that out over 10 days,
Yeah,
or a
you'll
month
figure
or,
it out
or
pretty
whatever.
quick. But yeah,
Like that's not nearly as, but again, that's not nearly as useful in the context of like PayPal as being able to just say, okay, I have the fact that they use PayPal for certain, and I have the email address that was used for Discord, which is very likely the same email they used for PayPal, just in general. Yeah, it might not be, but it's a likelihood.
yeah, very frequent.
So so if you have the certainty that someone has used a service, and then you have data that goes along with it, it gives you a lot of information to use for a certainty kind of So the to maximize bang for buck, on attempts for gaining access to someone else's account, they might say, okay, they definitely have an account here. I just need to know if this data they provide to this third party is relevant, and so they might use that. So IP addresses. If you want to connect to the internet, you've got to leave an IP address record somewhere. Even if it's on your VPN, even if they don't collect records, if you're connected, your IP address is there. So that's just going to be where you are, period. If you're using a VPN, one, good on you. Two, that really only specifically these days helps you get around stuff like geo-blocking. And even then, it's not. It's becoming less and less effective. Um, I'm not saying you should like stop using Discord if you don't have a VPN, or even if you have a VPN, you should be like suspicious of it. But it's just like
Be
IP
mindful of what you're putting
address,
out
an
there.
IP address being out there is not as big a deal as you might otherwise suspect, especially for something as innocuous as Discord. Like if you're torrenting, if you're torrenting, even if it's legal stuff, and your ISP is a pain in the ass. I mean, a VPN is going to be your best bet. But
Mm-hmm.
even their deep packet inspection, even using that or Tor nodes having a specific kind of traffic pattern, like an ISP can be a real bitch, and a VPN can help you with some of that, but not all of it. All right, let's see. So they also said messages with our customer service agents. That's going to be a big one for chatty Cathys and for people who had really difficult cases, I guess, where they had to give out a lot of personal information. So if their PII was involved, so personal identifiable information. And then they said limited corporate data, so including trading materials and internal presentations. So it looks like the third party got fucking owned, top to
Sounds
bottom.
like not
Um,
surprising. Wouldn't
like
be the
it
first
sounds
time.
like they exfiltrated everything they could and then told them. So I would assume that when they say may have been impacted, I would assume all of it has been impacted
Kind of an
because
anything that they have.
if they got to the point where they were given a ransom, that means they took everything. They exfiltrated full databases, all of it. Let's see what data was not involved. Full credit card numbers or CCV codes. I would say and CCV codes, but grammar. Messages or activity on Discord beyond what users may have discussed with customer support. So they didn't get access to main Discord data. Fine. My guess is that they should probably get their asses onto the trail for anything that the customer service people may have been able to access from Discord via their internal API, because it sounds like they fully owned that company before they got to the point where they said, you know what, let's go ahead and ask for money. It sounds like they fucking owned everything on Discord's customer service. They also say passwords and authentication data was not involved. So I'll say this on that one: passwords. I'm assuming, since Discord is based on Slack, that they kept the salted hash model, and they properly implemented that, especially given the scale that they operate on. Um, so a password is not going to be impacted directly, but if they did manage to exfiltrate somehow a password database, my guess is that it's going to be a huge pain in the ass to reverse that, unless they're stupid and they use something like a SHA-1 or SHA-2 hash. I mean, SHA-2 might have been kind of the default, like a SHA-512, but my guess at this point is that they have moved on to at least SHA-3 or a different internally developed hash. Because like rainbow tables for up through MD5 exists. I think MD6 at this point is basically broken. No one's going to be using a CRC because those aren't secure at all.
You've gotten a
Uh,
little bit off into the weeds. Mind giving a little bit of an explanation exactly what you're talking about here?
well, these are different. So a password, when you put it in, is
Mm-hmm.
salted. That means data is added to it, and then it is hashed. And that hash is what is stored by Discord. The salt and the hash are not stored in the same database. They are stored in separate databases, completely separate, different, physically separated databases. So every time you do a password, it has to go through two different databases of utility. First, it's added to a salt, then it's hashed, then that hash is compared with the database holding your hash next to your username. Only if those two match are you able to get in, right?
Yeah.
So um, a rainbow table is when you take a hash function and you put every input into it and you store every output next to every input as a big table. And so that could be a huge amount of data depending on the hash function. But so this is one of the ways you get around having to brute force or guess. You can just look it up. And if you know how the hash runs its internals, which you have to in order to implement them, um, then it's possible to shorten that in some ways, so that every input eventually becomes a certain type of input. So you don't have to store, like several gigabyte files if you want the hash functions output of that file. You can just determine what the input's going to be from the file first. Um, so some hash functions are secure and some are broken. SHA-3 is secure right now. SHA-1 and 2, two other
Keyword
types.
being right now, because technology, it
Well,
moves.
SHA-2 is still SHA-2. Actually, a computer file put out a good set of episodes on hash functions, and on one of them, they explain the difference between SHA-2 and SHA-3 and what the SHA-2 problem is. They're vulnerable to
Probably
extension
not worth our
attacks.
while to get into any further into the weeds
Yeah,
on
yeah,
that
we're not
one.
going to go further into that. I'm just saying, like, that would be a good place to go to look to watch some videos on that kind of stuff. As a
Yeah,
computer file, they did a reasonable job explaining it. They tend to do that pretty good on that channel. Um, all right, so what are they doing about it? In notified relevant data protection authorities, proactively engaged law enforcement,
throwing their hands into the air and trying to figure out what exactly the fuck happened.
reviewed our threat
Volunteer.
detection systems and security controls for third-party support providers.
See,
Yeah, okay.
yeah, what I just said.
That one just means like we got caught with our pants down and we're trying to find the lube after the fact. Just,
Yep. Again, throw their hands in the
I
air
mean,
and try to figure out what the fuck went down, because they still don't know.
let's see. Next steps. Looking ahead, we recommend impact users stay alert when receiving messages. God damn. I'm surprised this
And
hasn't been a bigger story in
remember
the
not
last
to
2 days,
redeem.
or last
Do
day.
not redeem.
Yeah, we take our responsibility to protect your personal data seriously, except when we're actually doing it. And understand the inconvenience and concern this may cause. Well, I'm sure it's very concerning. You have a bottom line to worry about.
That they do.
Yeah, so
That they
I
do.
skipped a good amount of the bullshit that was in this. But basically, it's not just their customer support, it's also their trust and safety team. That's apparently third party too, because they have customer support and or trust and safety.
Good times. I
It's
wonder which ones are the
the
furries.
implications of that. The implications of that are pretty wild.
Yeah. Just kidding. I don't wonder. They're probably all furries. But
Oh, undoubtedly.
anyway, speaking of bad actors and man in the middle
Yeah.
attacks, we should probably move on to some good news. Actually, some news.
Alrighty.
I will be completely honest with you. From the moment we started this show, we have spoken out against these vile, hate-fueled organizations. And I've spoken out against them since before the show. And honestly, I thought that there would never be an end to these vile monsters that have made life worse for basically everyone everywhere in the world. That, of course, being the SPLC and the ADL.
Oh
All
yes, it
ties
is.
have been cut from the FBI. Now, other government
I hope
agencies,
so.
well, it's a start. But it's a big, big, big fucking deal. Because they've been making shit terrible for everyone for forever.
And let's make this clear on this point. It doesn't matter what you think about how an organization like the ADL began, and you don't need to relitigate that. The fact is, the absolute incontrovertible fucking fact is, they have been acting in a very fucking anti-American manner for decades, and they have only gotten worse and more bold with it. It's disgusting. It should not be a thing that we have to deal with, and yet here we are with them embedded in our own fucking government as a resource, a tool. If you're listed by them, you're verboten.
Mm-hmm.
At least that was until they decided to cut ties with them.
Sure
Same
enough.
thing with SPLC. Whatever you think about how they were founded, how they've acted in the past, the fact of the matter is, today they are bad actors. Like, just not negotiable as a thing. Like, they are 100% bad actors today. Should not be given our tax dollars, our time, our confidence
And
in anything.
on that very same note, the ADL has decided in their wisdom to retire their glossary of extremism.
I wonder why that is.
Indeed. Only just days after, only just days after listing Charlie Kirk as a hate filled individual, and then only days after something happening to him at a particular school
Yeah,
location.
that's the thing. That's still only a few weeks old.
Mm-hmm.
That's still that has not happened more than a month ago now.
Nope.
That is. I mean, obviously, that should tell you how fast the internet moves, but like that is still very recent stuff.
Very. And
It's it should still be a sore point, and there's
should be a
no
sore
reason for
point
it to
for
not still be an issue.
a long, long while. There's yeah, that's just something we can just kind of never forget. Important
Yeah,
to remember always. And you know what? I'm going to go ahead and drop some more good news here because I've got closing good
ready?
news on top of all of it. So, CNN recently had a really fascinating guest on their
Oh yeah,
show. Yeah, actually, a
oh yeah.
Mexican fella, from what I understand.
How about that
Yeah, yeah. Simon
Mexican fella? Huh?
Simon Loa, something like that.
Uh huh.
Anyway,
Yeah.
Mr. Simon Loa of he's a car driver, car teller, something like that. Anyway, Mr. Simonella of
Oh, so
the car
he
tellers.
does telecommunications then. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think he does importing and exporting or something like that. But
Oh, so of the auto variety then.
yeah, yeah,
Car phones, cool.
that sort of thing. Fentanyl and such like. Anyway,
Oh, okay.
you know,
Penatel, I guess.
the usual, as you do. Anyway, quote here. CNN,
Well,
of
that's a
course, this.
popular company.
Well, So CNN got an interview with this cartel leader, and I'll just quote you from the thing, and of course throw the short bit of the interview because it's delicious. Do you think what President Trump has been doing has been making your job tougher, uh, Mister Loa? Oh yes, yeah. It's becoming more difficult. Yep. And I will say, even though they put a bit of a voice changer on Mister Loa, Mister Cena
Yeah,
Loa, it he I'm not catching a heavy accent, unsurprisingly. Read
very
into
interesting.
that what you will, but you know, I will just mention that we have reported on that fucking one Polish guy that was I don't think it was Sinaloa. I think it was I've forgotten the name. Damn it. Well, one of the other cartel houses.
Uh huh.
But on that note, also, just in the past few days, it's been made quite clear that the situation with Venezuela is somewhat intractable due to a narco terrorist dictator, if I'm quoting our commander in chief correctly. So there's a
You
bit of a
saw what happened in the Gulf just recently, then.
there's been some things that happened, some things with some I believe drones.
Hold on, you're saying some things happened there?
Yes, some things happened to
Okay.
some people. As a
Oh,
matter of
okay.
fact,
We're calling the people now.
well, I can. Their remains can be identified as human, and I don't know if they were communist or not. They just worked for one. They might be entirely
Okay.
capitalist. I don't know.
Okay. All right. All right. That
So
makes more sense.
yeah, but that said, yeah, there was what was that? Just yesterday or the day before, they got another Venezuelan cartel boat and just pew.
Yep. Another. Well, it wasn't an Oahu boom. It was certainly a boom, though.
No, it was they're going
I
hard.
mean, those Venezuelan fireworks are pretty fucking gnarly, aren't they?
They are, and you can imagine there's
Some
probably some
spicy
piped up
fireworks.
fish down there too. You know.
Yeah, well, I would not be surprised if they found a whole lot of dead fish in the near future. Not from the redneck fishing up top, but
The fallout,
from the
as
the
it
nine
were.
from the 9 to 5 lawyer fish down below coming up for air.
Yeah, one of those kind of deals. But what's happened here too, in addition to the one thing going on, and of course the increased
Yeah.
rhetoric. I've seen some posts that I can't verify. It's just people that know people, but
Hmm.
if they're to be believed, there's boys on the ground, and they're doing
Oh, we've
interdiction,
got boys down there. Yeah.
and they're having the
That's how we
time of
knew.
their life, from what
That's
I
how we
hear.
knew. That exactly is how we knew what was going on is we have operators in the area, and because, of course, we did not officially invade Venezuela. These are third party.
Of course.
Those are not our. Those are not. Those are our boys, but those are our paid boys. That's what do you say? Those are the Blackwater boys.
Wet workists, if you like.
Those are functional gentlemen.
Indeed. Doctors, they operate.
Yes, they're doctors and lawyers.
Engineers, even.
You know, in the same way they were sent those. Yes, precisely.
But
Those are American excellence on the ground.
so just spreading the gospel of American democracy or something.
Oh,
Good
yes.
times though. Funny stuff. Funny stuff. But actually, I don't know. I shouldn't say that's funny. It's genuinely not. It's actually kind of
Well,
horrifying
it's
where we
queer,
are. But
certainly.
might as well try and enjoy what we can of an incredibly dark situation. And what was it that? What was the exact term that was used? A non-international war has been entered. I legitimately can't remember the exact terminology, but it was something like that. And
Ah,
boy, I'll tell you, it's very.
boy, howdy.
I'm saying a lot. I need to stop doing that. So, again, a very
Slow
interesting.
and intentional with your wording, right?
I don't know. But what I was saying there, though, is it's interesting times that we live in. To put it
Like,
in just the plainest of terms, for there's a. I guess I'm trying to say that it's going to get worse before it gets better in the nicest of terms that I can muster.
well, I'll say this on top of that. Not for us down there.
Oh, for them dudes? Ooh.
Oh, yes. You see,
Yeah,
that's the fun thing is we are a nation of people who do not have to be in the room to touch you.
there is that.
That is how we operate. We do not need to be in the room to fuck you up.
That is very
And so
true.
our boys being on the ground means that we have taken a special interest in your survival and how short it will be.
Or lack thereof. Yeah, yeah.
Like, say what you will about the morals of what we do with our military and et cetera, et cetera. And generally, I would lean on the side of them being fully moral. Um, the fact is they're effective. They will always be effective, and that is with or without the bullshit that they try to spew to the contrary.
Well, it would appear they will be now. There was a there was a certain direction in which every single one of our armed services was
Oh, we
inexorably
should cover
pulled,
this as well. Yes.
and that's basically done. That's
I
done.
don't know.
That's not even a thing.
I don't know if you saw that. That was
That's
a really
out.
good speech. The Hegseth speech. So my buddy, about a week before, a buddy of mine in the chair force, doing God's work. Um, he let me and my brothers know the new standards for the Air Force come down the pipeline, and they were some spicy standards.
Oh, really?
And we're like, oh god,
So
that's
do you have to
funny.
be
And
able
then
to like
Hegseth gave
sit
his
for
speech,
goodness, like hours at a time now, not just minutes?
and then Hegseth gave his speech. He doesn't want to see any more fat generals, and I was just sitting there like, fuck yes.
True.
Oh man, there are so many people that are gonna be pissed off by that, and they are all the correct people.
And I actually do. I think this is a complete link to the speech. I'll include it here. If not, the
Oh yeah,
speech is
so
linked below.
and if not, I'll say this: like, take like him or hate him, as a personality, and for all his fucking Zoomer speech, I sometimes get fucking fed up with him. But Nux had I mean he was having a great time laughing along too. So I kind of probably forgave some of his annoying shit as he was showing the Hegseth speech
Sure.
because it was fucking hilarious. Because the guy's just saying no more fatties on the front line. No more weak shit on the front line. We need to project strength and then be strength.
No more of
Like
this
that's
DEI
the end.
bullshit.
Some of it.
Wait, let me see. I
Like
got an
that
exact
is
quote
that
actually.
is
No more identity months, DEI offices, dudes in dresses. No more climate change worship. We are done with that shit. End quote.
this is every successful military in the history of time has not been run by weak shit.
Militaries that are
Like
run to do.
pretty definitionally.
If you run your military to do anything other than these two things, you're doing it wrong. Your military needs
Yeah.
to kill people, break shit. That is what they are for.
Yeah. And look, we even have the Army Corps of Engineers. Why don't not only does our military break shit, we also build shit.
That's true.
Like
We
that's
fix the
pretty
shit when we
fucking.
break. Yeah.
That's pretty spectacular.
We fix shit that other people broke.
In fact, we fix a lot of shit specifically so we can break shit and kill people more effectively.
This is true.
But again, it's all in the service of that one goal, except for a national emergency at home, where we genuinely just use them to build shit. So, like, as ACOE is out there, after hurricanes and whatnot, with the National Guard trying to rebuild stuff. Like, Katrina is a great example. ACOE was out there basically building roads the way they should have been doing in North Carolina, but we had a dipshit in office. Just the bare bones stuff to get trucks across places, like the simple shit. And then, eventually they're all basically temporary solutions, and they'll get collapsed down and taken away so the real stuff can be put in after the fact. But fact stands, they can build shit. We're that kind of country. We can not only break your shit, we can build it. We can fix it afterwards. And now, it doesn't always work. See Afghanistan and Iraq. But that's when we're trying to build, like, a country from scratch with people who hate us, instead of just breaking their shit and leaving, which is what we did in Iran, which stopped us having to go to war with them. You notice the leadership was the major impact factor there. So Pete Hegseth is not just going to stop with, well, the commander-in-chief, the executive commander, the civilian commander of the military is a good leader. He's going to build into the service the good leadership that is supposed to be there. And you can be a brilliant strategist and a fat general, and you should still not be a fat general. And yes, sometimes that might mean that a brilliant strategist is put off to the side, but you don't have to be a front-facing face of the military as a fat general. You can retire and create a consultancy if you want to stay fat, because they're still going to hire you. If you're good, if you're a resource, they will come back to you because your name's already in the Rolodex. Like that is a position to leave as an in person.
Either that or found your own private whatever that employs a bunch of people.
Yeah, make another Blackwater.
Yeah, be the next Blackwater. That is.
Well, I mean, I say that in jest, but at the same time, like it's not lucrative. Those fuckers get hired. That was 2/3 of our force in the Middle East for the vast majority of the war. Like we started off with operatives in the area before we even sent a missile, and you notice how fast we sent missiles after 9/11. Like we were over there the next fucking day for a reason, because we were already sniffing around after that shit. We're just like, okay, we know this stuff's happening. Guys, in position, go. I mean, it's not like we don't still have people over there. The people who remember the people that were stuck in Afghanistan after the collapse, after the brilliance by Biden. Remember that?
I don't even know how many are left at this point. There was at least
200. There were 200 civilians.
Still,
there were 200. There were 200 Americans that were there at the time that we pulled out, left behind.
Oh, I know. I remember.
Which is what we don't do as a country. So what happened? We did not send the military back in there to get people out. We evac'd using operators, former military, veteran-run operations. Sending those people got our guys out. So, like that's the kind of people that are great after the fact, but while they're in service, the operators are happily able to wear beards. Special forces.
Oh, on that note, actually, speaking of beards and hair, that's the other thing. There's everything is
Oh, we're still on this. Okay.
Oh yeah, well,
Like
we
that's
haven't really left the
transition.
topic, but yeah,
Okay.
social grooming standards are back to what they were, back
Yeah.
to what they've
Look,
always been. Like you're not going to be a fatty,
the
you're not
high
going to
and
have
tight,
long hair, you're going to have a well trimmed mustache, if that,
like
unless
that's the
you're
thing
out
is
in the
the
field.
high and tight and no beard is there for a reason, and that reason is if you are in CQB and you get grabbed by the hair, that is a control point on the most sensitive, important part of your body that can break your neck. Like if someone grabs your hair and rips your head to the side, they can snap your neck. It doesn't matter how strong you are if you don't know it's coming. If you don't have
And
anything for them to grab, it doesn't happen.
oh, you've got a nice trim beard. You can't grab a nice trim beard. You know what a nice trim beard will do? A nice, well trimmed,
It's
manicured beard
sandpaper.
will, well, not only that. I'm not talking about like stubble. I'm talking like, a nice
Right.
one,
Yeah, yeah.
like JD
Like
wears,
when I have
nice and trim.
generally the one I wear. Yeah.
That's going to fuck up the seal on your gas mask.
Yeah. So I'll say this: if you know how to wear a gas mask, you're generally going to be okay. If you're dealing with something like mustard gas or sarin, don't take the chance.
Oh, look, it's VX. You're going to fucking die.
Right.
Is it,
You're going to
is
melt.
your beard worth it for the,
I mean,
rotten
I
almonds?
deal with I've dealt with some gnarly shit in my past,
Actually, rotten eggs. That's VX.
but
But
I've dealt with gnarly shit in the past. You know, that I've inhaled stuff I shouldn't have. I've worn my mask, and I've actually had I've actually let my beard grow finally for fuck's sake a little too long, and it was a problem before with some burnt plastic fumes that were really not very good to breathe going around. Um, if I was going to be in a situation where I knew for a fact I was going to be around something like sarin, VX, mustard gas, chlorine gas, without any possibility of walking out of the room, kind of situation.
mm-hmm.
Like if you're in a cloud of chlorine, you don't just get to walk to the side. It's everywhere you are. If you're in a low point, you have to go to higher ground, and if you don't have like a ladder packed in your back, it's just not happening. You're gonna die.
Yep.
Because I have to tell you, I've been exposed to bromine and chlorine, not fluorine yet, and iodine though. And of all those, bromine was the worst, but chlorine was probably the more lethal because it is more volatile than bromine. It's able to fill up a space better.
Oh, and
Bromine
chlorine does
is
awful
just
things
horrible.
with
Dude,
your
it fucks you
body
up.
too.
It fucks you up.
Oh yeah.
Both of those are both. If I was gonna like fuck with an entire area, I would use bromine for its staying power and its lethality. But chlorine is easier to produce, more volatile, and spreads better. And the spreading part was what made it so terrible in World War I, because it rolled into those trenches and it sat there. Bromine will puddle up, and you can get the worst of both worlds. You have a liquid you can spray in the air, and the vapors that are super dense, but it's not going to have anywhere near the spreadability of chlorine. Like it's got
And
staying power, it's got lethality, but it's not nearly as good at that instant damage over a large battlefield.
we've
So
both
stuff
of
like
us
that,
mentioned
you gotta,
VX,
yeah,
but it's not really
that's one of a
pertinent to
series.
things, but it's worth talking about for just a quick moment because people have
Sure.
heard the name and they
Oh
may
yeah,
have
yeah,
heard they
from the
may have heard
rockets era.
Vexon gas, maybe they've heard the some of the trade terms, but you don't understand what it is. I'm sure anyone that's heard of it has heard that it is horrifying and it is incredibly deadly. It is so
It's worse.
deadly that you don't understand how deadly it is. It will make your body tear itself apart. And
Yeah, you will fuck yourself up hard.
and you won't survive. You will not
Well,
survive
so
exposure unless you have an antitoxin.
if let's say
That is all.
if you have atropine, well, if you have atropine and you can inject that shit into your heart, that was actually an accurate part of the rock, mind you.
And now,
I
mind
thought
you,
that was
this
pretty
is a
fucking
right
funny.
away thing because
Yeah, it's within a few
you're
seconds.
dying
It's not like
fast. This isn't like a we're gonna get you to the hospital. It's like, okay, I was just exposed. I hope I've got a fucking EpiPen, cause if not, that's the end.
so it's within about 30 seconds. If you don't make that time frame, you're fucked.
Yeah, and
It
by
is
30 seconds, you're gonna already be.
you're
It it is a fast
you're
acting
not
thing
good.
that does awful things to you. it kind of fires all your nerves all at once, kind of burning all
without
of them
inhibition.
out, which causes all of your systems that are connected to your nerves to go completely haywire in massive overproduction and overuse, burning them out. So you basically like it sets a fire through all of your systems that burns everything out, and then you're dead.
So
It's horrible. It's fucking
so what it does
horrifying
is
stuff.
it fucks up your ability to fire inhibitory motor nerve impulses, along with a lot of other unfortunate stuff. It's basically it's the ultimate I'd say kind of like the ultimate anticholinergic. It allows it basically persists and deregulates acetylcholine in the synapse. So there's no way to undo a nerve impulse.
Yeah,
That
it's
means shit like not only do your lungs freeze up from your entire chest wincing, it also causes your entire heart to contract at once and not uncontract.
yeah. And also,
Like
by that same
that's
notion,
and
all your
also
blood
fries your
vessels
brain,
to contract to their tightest.
and it also causes your brain to fuck up because again, like you said, that kind of burning out thing.
Yeah,
Again, it's only one neurotransmitter, but it's a pretty fucking important one. Acetylcholine is a very important neurotransmitter for your motor cortex. So like you will not be having a good day if you manage to stab atropine in right away. You're still not having a good day.
oh, you're going to have damage
Um,
that's going to take a long time to heal.
yeah,
If
your whole
if
body
it
kind
can.
of gets pissed.
If it can.
Also, it does this fun thing where it melts your skin.
Yeah, it's
it is in fact a blister agent, but it's worse than mustard. Like it, the thing is, as horrifying as a weapon as a movie like The Rock made it seem, it's actually worse.
yeah, it really is.
Like it's that was Hollywood saved you on that one. Like it is a truly horrifying thing. It's like, and as they said in the movie, and I'll refer back to it because again, they got a lot of stuff right. It's one of the things we wish we could uninvent, kind of like a nuclear bomb.
Yeah, and
It's
the thing
truly
about
bad.
nuclear power is at least there's some good that can come of it.
Well,
Quite a
so
lot of good.
there's some good that came of the research out of the VX drugs. Kind of had a boost.
Well,
Um,
yeah, things that can
better chemical
counteract
weapons had a
it.
boost. Better chemical weapons had a boost. More humane, I would say. They're not humane, but more humane. Um, but yeah, it's by and large, it's not as it doesn't have as redeeming qualities like nuclear power. By and large,
Yeah, pretty much not. Pretty much not.
but yeah, it's a series of agents. It's not just VX. It's the whole series of chemical agents, and they're all horrifying in their own way. And also, mind you, not terribly difficult to produce, which is one of the things that's kind of super scary about those.
Well,
Is
that's what a lot of
like
these things are. It's like that's
when we say
those
like
genies are
people
out
are
of the
building up
bottle.
stockpiles, when people talk about building up stockpiles, that means that someone made a very specific choice about doing something very easy with something very dangerous.
Yeah,
And so we talk about precursors and whatnot when it comes to this kind of issue in the military. I say we as in the royal we. I'm not military affiliated,
sure.
but like these are truly dangerous things that have no people don't have any business making them, and yet they're stupid easy to produce. So we have to be vigilant about this kind of stuff
Nature of
as a country and as a species. Because frankly, if the wrong person got their hand on this stuff, like the
well,
the numbers that they used in the movie The Rock were not far off. Like a teaspoon in the atmosphere is a
no, it will
good number of
dissipate,
people dead.
but
Well, if the wind goes the
that
wrong way, like it's a good number of people dead if a
oh yeah,
rocket of that
yeah.
shit
It's like
blows up.
wherever it drops, if there are people, it's going to be horrible. It's going
So
to
that's
be
why we abandoned chemical weapons, is because we realized exactly how fucking evil they are and how indiscriminate they are, and we went for more targeted approaches.
yeah.
Um,
Also, one of the reasons that
like bunker busters.
I'm not a big fan of just some of these world-ending technologies are kind of horrifying. Legitimately.
Well, some of them are unnecessary consequences of necessary technologies. I'd say nuclear energy is a great example of that. So a nuclear weapon, rather, is a great example of that as a byproduct of nuclear energy.
Well, the thing
That
is, at
a
the end of the
nuclear
day, a
nuclear
nuclear
energy is very
weapon
important.
is just a weapon.
Now, another one I'll throw out there is if you ever see something like a space laser, that's going to be an end product of basically nuclear technology and particle accelerators, like things that save people by doing stuff like killing cancer. They can light a lot of shit on fire pretty easily, and
Ivermectin can
they can
light things on
penetrate,
fire?
and they can penetrate, and they can penetrate a lot of different types of armor.
Sounds like we need to paint our
So,
roofs blue.
so just so just give you an example real quick. This is from actually how we make microchips. To pop a wafer off of a boule of BOULE, a boule of silicon. So it's basically like a big drip of monocrystalline silicon that was pulled out of the melt and it leaves. Basically it's a nearly perfect crystal. There's very few other atoms besides silicon inside there. In order to pop a wafer off of the end of it after it's cut nice and flat, we use a particle accelerator. We embed it with protons at a very specific depth. And you can do that by tuning the energy of it. That determines how deep into the material that particle will embed itself before it stops. And if you do that well, and you can do that very easily. These are very tunable machines, very tunable instruments. It will pop off a wafer of almost perfect flatness at an almost constant thickness. Like it's very far few and far between. The surface roughness there. Like you're basically going to have a single layer of atoms. It's going to be very flat.
And let's not talk about the voodoo
And so if you
that
can do
is
that to silicon,
chip fab buildings.
so if you can do that to silicon, you can do that to any fucking armor out there, and you don't have to stop at ablation. Blowing pieces of the armor off. You can just punch all the way through it and affect anything on the other side. Like you can just punch through armor,
Oh yeah,
and
particle
yeah,
beam
there's going to be
weapons
a
are
portion that stops
they're
in it.
nasty things.
There's gonna you can like stop the beam in it if you want and like destroy it that way,
Oh hey,
which
just
would
a
cause a problem on the inside of a compartment, by the way.
real quick note on that. By the way, the conjecture is that our particle acceleration technology is built off of Tesla's death ray, the one that he split up into 5 parts and sent out amongst the world. And
Right.
and
Well, no. So
from my
we
own
just use
personal research,
synchrotrons.
it actually
We just
does
use
seem that that's
synchrotrons.
the case, which would be
We
quite
just
ironic.
no. We just use synchrotrons and other forms. We do linear accelerators and synchrotrons. That's the basis of what we use. Tesla might have been a genius. I don't think that genius is what made that happen, especially considering part of a lot of the technology that went into it. So like a good portion of it predates him.
Well, then
Again,
all
like
the more reason. But
his death ray
that's
is
neither here
different.
nor there. That's just something
His
I've
death
heard.
ray is very different. His death ray is like Thor's hammer landing on you.
Maybe.
That's I think the most apt description. What I'm talking about is like a needle that passes through you without you noticing, and then causes cancer and horrible damage for like five
Oh
inches in
yeah,
diameter
no. A
around
particle
it.
beam cannon is the size of whatever size you want it to be. At the end of the day, I mean, it could be
Uh,
it could be the
the
thickness of a particle, or it could be a basketball-sized grouping of particles. In which case, there will
right.
be a hole through you the size of a basketball, and in front of you,
So
and behind you.
so again, like so the idea is that you can disrupt a crystal lattice very easily, and that's a much easier. That's a much. It sounds much worse than it is when I say it like that, because the energies involved don't have to be very high for that. But the fact is, you can do the same thing to like composite armor and blow it apart violently, not just like cause a little crack in it.
Mm.
And one of the main ways people died in World Wars One and Two, and later on in our tanks, one of the main ways people died was from exposure to metals. And what happens inside a tank, if it ever has an explosion like that, is it vaporizes metal, which hoovers up all the oxygen and kills everyone in the compartment from asphyxiation or reactive damage from the iron entering into the lungs.
Kind of
and
the same
doing just
thing the
oxidative
napalm
damage
does to you.
everywhere.
It's not the burning that kills you; it's that it rips the
Oh,
oxygen out of your lungs and out of the.
napalm is that one's
Oh
multifocal.
yeah, no,
I
it
mean, so
burns
you
you.
can
It sets you on fire. It's hot. It
like
steals all your oxygen. It's horrible stuff. Terrible way to go.
like
Speaking of
the
terrible
inside of a
ways to
tank.
go.
It's not just that. The inside of a tank. The other one is concussive damage,
Oh, also
which you
that.
can
Yeah,
achieve.
you talk about getting your bell rung. But
You
yeah,
can achieve pretty damn easily just by throwing a rock at it. Really fucking hard. But if you're
right.
using like a laser impulse to do a blade of damage, you can rock the inside of a tank pretty good with that.
I can believe
I mean,
that.
so if you combine the two, say you had a shape charge round that you fired at a tank, and you used a laser to ablate the armor off it before it struck, and basically cause reactive armor to explode preemptively or prematurely, then like you could seriously fuck up a tank that way. And not saying that's already been implemented, but so
Hey, for what it's worth, that is actually how a specific character in 40K functions. The
oh
what is it?
well,
The whatever. One of the assassins actually has a
right.
laser and mass driver rifle that does literally that.
Oh, right.
Nasty stuff.
Yeah, not related.
No, no, but same effect in game terms. Explained
Certainly.
similarly, as a matter of fact. It hits the ablative armor or whatever with the laser, which also creates a pathway through the air by which a thing can travel because there's this vacuum through which it can flow without impedance, etc. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. We're talking about
Enough of the
dangerous.
nerd shit.
Yeah, back to other nerd shit. So, speaking about ablative armor and blowing things up, we should probably talk about the Samson Galaxy Ring. There's a fella that,
Dude, that
yeah,
poor guy.
that dude nearly got his fucking finger exploded off. So this dude had the Galaxy Ring thing.
I
That's
saw that
a
image and he
titanium
had
ring
no idea.
with all of the guts on the inside of the ring.
You know
Again,
to rip that shit off so fast.
well, he couldn't, unfortunately,
I
because
know. I would have. I would
it
have ripped.
swelled
I would
on
have.
him while he was
Dude,
traveling.
do you see the state of his finger in that one picture where he takes it from the back of his hand? You can
Oh
see
yeah,
how fucking red his finger was above it. Like I would have gotten the ring off way before that.
yeah. So
That was so brutal.
oh yeah, it's a little red. It's very squishy, and so the guy's thinking, okay, well, we need to get this off. Maybe throw some butter on there, get it wet or something. Well,
Yeah.
unfortunately, the seal's already broken, and so getting a little moisture in there didn't help. As a matter of fact, it hurt. Made things
Oh,
much.
he did try that.
Oh yes, oh yes. Ended up having to
I
go
would
to
have
the
asked for
hospital.
oil, dude.
Well, they
So here's the thing is the lipo battery swells upon failure like that, and what happens with your finger if it gets caught in a ring like that is it cuts off the venous return of fluids,
mm-hmm.
and so your body still produces pressure to push blood in, but if there's only pressure to push blood in and there's a restriction on the way out, then every heartbeat pushes a little more fluid in, but it can't leave effectively.
Yep.
Quickly enough. The flow in is more than the flow out. So the longer you let it sit there like that, the worse it is. That's why I said the moment I saw something like that, like at the moment, like the first hint of that, I would have gotten on my finger because like that is something that somewhat terrifies me about. And I do wear for instance I have a ring around my pinky for being an engineer. A ring around my middle finger on the other hand as a promise to my girlfriend. Like that's but these are one is they're both steel. They're both stainless steel. And the thing about stainless steel is it is a lot stronger than something like gold. So like if you thought like getting a gold ring cut off your finger is a nightmare, these have to be ground off. They can't just be like chopped like you can with a gold ring.
Oh yeah, no, you can just go at a gold ring with a set of snips.
You can use exactly. These have to be
You want to try that
ground
with
down
you can do
with a
that
cutoff
with
wheel.
a steel ring, but the results for your
If it
finger
deforms
are
the
going to
wrong
be very
way,
bad.
yeah. So with these, you have to use a cutoff wheel to grind it down, and basically subject yourself to third-degree burns at the site where it was cut, and it has to be cut from both sides. It can't just be like a little wedge they cut out. It has to be cut on two opposite sides of your finger. So you're guaranteed to have massive pain and damage to the internals of your finger if you get it. Like, so that's just one of those horror scenarios for me. Now, obviously, I'm not like, worried about every goddamn day, but like I make damn sure my ring fits when I put it on. If I take it off, like for instance, I mentioned thankfully ages ago now, but this year, with my broken hands, like I was not able to wear my class ring or my engineering pinky ring until relatively recently because of the way it fucked my hand up. Like I had to change the size of my pinky ring, which thankfully that one it's more that you wear it and it's not so sentimental about the one you got at the very beginning. But the class ring, that's more sentimental. You don't just kind of trade that out by going on Amazon.
Nah, well, but that's what jewelers are for.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the thing is I want to make sure that my finger is entirely back to whatever shape it's supposed to be, and thankfully I can wear my rings now, or my class ring. That's gotten back to somewhat functional use. But so I have like a gold one and I have a steel one. That's what's the stupid euphemism? Celestrum or Celestrium is the trade name they use. To try and make it sound better than your poor.
Mm.
But as a daily, like, I'm not going to wear, for instance, the gold ring out constantly because that's stupid. It's not. It's meant to be like a starting heirloom or a store of wealth more than you can wear it to like a dinner party and that kind of shit. But the steel one, that's one I can wear around, and I guess it looks silver, whatever. That's not the important part. I just get to say like I went to
Just a real
university.
quick question for you, Craig. Is this a
Yeah,
recent decision that you've made not to go out in public with displays of wealth, or is this something you've done for a while?
a while.
Oh, okay. So
That's just
unlike
prudence. You
some
don't you don't
folks
go around
who have
flashing everything.
only recently learned about something because a certain organization was shut down, you were actually aware of this ahead of time.
Well, it's just what you do if you're gonna walk around. You don't like you can. Thing is, like everyone has a smartphone. If everyone didn't have a smartphone and I was walking around with a smartphone, which is on the order of $1,000 these days plus,
Can be.
I'm a fucking obvious target for a theft. Now, obviously, that's still the case if everyone else has a phone, but at least like I'm not the target in the room. You know what I mean? Wearing a watch around, I have a decent G-Shock watch, but like part of it's just because I don't wear it while I'm typing. But and so I just kind of forget to put it back on, and I have a smartphone I can tell the time. But it used to be that it was not quite so. I was more prudent about keeping it on my wrist, and like if I'm gonna go to say the shit part of town, I'm gonna put that keep that hand in my pocket. Why would I invite that? Like that's the thing is why would I invite that upon myself? And so that's just prudence.
Well, it
You don't
is.
walk around with a handful of cash for a reason.
Well, that's the thing, though. That's the thing. Actually, up until just earlier this year, you did because it was fine. Because no one would do anything to you. You would never run
Oh
into any
sure.
issues, and there would
Uh huh.
never be any trouble because everything's a blank slate. And if anyone tries to tell you that there are any racial disparities in any sort of crime, they are obviously lying. Now that's what you would have said. Would have.
Oh,
And
I'm certain somebody would have said that. I don't think I would. I mean, I wouldn't have gone
well,
down
you
the
would have
racial
been told
disparity
that.
road, but
You would have been told that by a certain organization, a certain
uh
CRS, a community
okay.
relations service individual would come to you. Let's just say, for instance, you're a father, and someone by the name of Markello Anthony does something to your child with a
Yeah.
knife
Okay.
in the neck
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
repeatedly, unprovoked.
You see, first off, I wouldn't be the kind of pussy that goes to someone else's thing and then tries to someone else's fundraiser for their fucked up son, and then tries to virtue signal on their fucking behalf. I would not be that kind of piece of shit. Now, everybody grieves in their own way, and I already said my piece before on this, so I brought it up. But that's, in my opinion, that's truly repellent behavior.
But what's happened here?
I'll summarize with just that. Yeah.
The CRS has been shut down, and
Oh no!
this is
How
really,
could that have happened?
really, really big news. And it's kind of just slipped by a lot of people because
Uh,
a lot of folks have no idea
you know what?
what this
I bet you it
organization.
was the Discord. I bet it was the Discord leak that blew it out of the media, right? Since nobody knew about it either.
I mean, maybe, but in all honesty, this
Oh man.
organization has existed basically to facilitate the abuse of American citizens at the hands of whomever might choose to abuse them. Now, a lot of that did
Uh-huh.
come from, well, let's just say there's about 13% of the population that was able to make things very uncomfortable for,
Six. Let's be honest.
well, using the numbers from the department
Six.
from which the Community Relations Service originates, the Department of Justice, they said 13. So we'll just go with their numbers. You know. But anyway,
Yeah, but
they've been
it's
in
mostly
existence
men who
since.
do it. That's mostly males. It's not gonna be like it's not generally speaking. Say what you will about disparities, but on the aggregate, it's not going to be women that are doing largely the crime in that sense.
Well,
Again,
that's
you can talk.
actually no, that's pretty accurate up until relatively recently, and sadly,
Oh, you don't say.
yeah.
Well, that's unfortunate.
Well, that's what happens when you break down a society. Just people get terrible.
Well, you kick the father out of the home, and you're going to get that. And you see that that's not a racial issue these days.
No, no, I mean it kind of
that's
is, but it kind of isn't. It
that's been
just
pretty
is
well
what it is.
mainstreamed. Is getting rid of the father, man. That's fucked up.
And you throw on top of that you take a bunch of wholesome guys that are rhyming about stuff in their neighborhood that's generally pretty unobjectionable, like working down at the car wash. I saw my buddy. Case in point, Sugar Hill Gang, first rap group.
Sure.
Bunch of wholesome dudes talking about stuff in their neighborhood, just normal old stuff like riding bikes down with your friends, the most mundane shit you could ever imagine. And then, for some reason, gangster rap becomes the thing with a quickness because of the media. And I don't know, maybe certain projects, certain blue projects. Who knows? Anyway, paint your roof blue. Just fucking with you. But, or I'm not. I don't know. Either way, though, we've got some other really really awesome news. No, it's not the deployment. Bolters are real. FN Hurstel will be
Oh, it's not a bolter. You know what? Go ahead.
it
I'm sorry.
is,
Continue.
but it is not designated one. It functions the same way a bolter does.
It doesn't
But it
have
doesn't
explosive
use a
jet propelled
gyro.
rounds. God damn it.
But it doesn't use a gyrojet on top. So it doesn't fire
That
bolter
means it's not a bolt.
rounds.
If it's not fighting, if it's not firing bolter rounds,
Well, the thing
it's
is, they
not a
make
fucking
those are a
bolter.
thing though, and they do make those like
Yeah, the
self.
gyrojet was a
No,
thing.
not gyrojet.
Yes.
No, I mean like 40 millimeter, or I think that's 38. But either way, they actually that is a thing. They do make those that are
Well,
self-propelled. So
if they're
you
not
could.
firing them out of the gun, then they're not bolter guns.
Well, the thing is, it can fire them, so it has every capability of
Until
being
it
a
does.
full-fledged bolt rifle. Anyway, that's just cool, and I
I
put
mean,
the name
yes, it
next to it
is.
because
Absolutely.
bolters are fucking
They
awesome.
should make it the rest of the way a thing. Otherwise, it's not the thing yet.
True.
Until it becomes the thing, it is not the thing.
Yeah, no, it is. Now, it's not a pale imitation, but it's got a ways to go yet. But and a lot of things do, a lot of places do, but there has been progress, good progress. Let's dial in here a little bit and talk about Walmart for half a second because I don't really care about
Progress in Walmart.
them. I know, right?
Did they become a full country yet, or are they still just third world?
Um, I mean, they've got kind of the economy
Remember,
of
kids, you have to bring your passport if you want to go to a Walmart.
probably depends on
No,
which one
that's
you are.
that's a definite.
But anyway, they'll be eliminating all their artificial food dyes from all store branded products. So like all the great value stuff,
Okay,
which I mean,
good.
say that what you will.
Here's the thing. Again, and I'll pick apart things with like saying this, that, or the other is good or bad when it comes to that, or harmful or not. But in general, in like just writ large, artificial food dyes, while they're not necessarily any worse than a natural dye, and when I say that, I don't mean a specific natural dye because some natural dyes are really fucking bad for you,
No, true.
and in worse ways too. But in general, by and large, natural dyes are gonna be fine. It's if you're really that diehard
I mean, we
dug
used
in
them
on
for
wanting to
like
get.
I don't know, 1,000 years or so, without much issue. So
Well, as I'm saying, like if you're really well, the same thing happened with mercury sulfide, cinnabar. That was also used for about 1,000 years as a purgative. So let's not get into
I said without issue.
that. Without known issue, I'll be fine with that one. So, if you're really dead set on having yourself your artificial dyes or whatever, not preservatives, but artificial like food dyes, there's certainly going to be a product out there in the market that'll cater to you. Um, but frankly, it's not going to majorly impact, at least these days, it's not going to majorly impact the health ramifications of a product more than other ingredients. There you can talk about like the impact for like quantity and price, but like as far as health outcomes, say what you will about the FDA and so on, but they're generally pretty good about keeping toxic shit out of the market when they can.
Boy, if that isn't a
There's
segue that
the reason the examples are so notable for why they aren't is because they are so infrequent. So that is an example. The heart issues with the Purdue family's favorite medication, oxycodone. The reason that was so notable is because it was kind of so on the nose, and everyone was kind of like needed it for surgery, and that was not a thing that happened very frequently. They become huge stories because they only happen every so often, and they're so impactful.
hmm.
So, by and large, they're pretty good about keeping that kind of shit out of the market, and that includes food dyes.
And speaking of keeping
Um,
toxic shit out of the market, we've got an update from our friend Bats here. There has been a
Alrighty.
new curation list that's been created on Steam, as we all know. There's
Oh
a
yes, this has.
there is a
Go ahead.
DEI detected, I believe is one, and then there's Sweet
There
Baby
is.
Ink detected. Both
There
solid
is.
lists,
Yep.
but they are coming under fire. For what they're doing, and maybe you want to just make sure that you've got that list, and you're not a negative person. Maybe you're a
Oh
positive
shit.
person.
That's a sending DMs. Hold on a second.
Oh no, it's right here. It's right here. What's
Okay.
happened is Sweet Baby Ink Blessed has been created. It's a pro SBI curation list, and what they do is they look for any and every game that these wonderful people have worked and assisted in. So you could follow this list, and you would be able to know certainly that you are or are not supporting SBI by way of your purchase. So thanks, Bats. Thanks for sharing that.
Oh, that
What a
is
what a
welcome news.
positive development that is.
That is welcome news. I am happy to hear that.
Absolutely, absolutely. It warms the cockles of your heart, you know. And of course, we also just in the past few days have the
Well, I think that's a
789.
great list to have.
Oh, it is. No, absolutely.
I truly hope that the person behind it is ideologically aligned with the stated purpose,
Oh, that'd be great.
because like, here's the thing: is with the, say what you will about the people behind SBI, I do believe that where there's a market, it should be served by, especially by the people who wish to participate in it. If you want to give your money to companies that hire SBI and there are products in the market, you should absolutely be able to form your own consumer advocacy list and
Yeah,
be
like if you're a
pro
self-hating
people that do it.
racist and a masochist, that's the way to go.
Sure. Say what you will about the kind of people involved. I think that as a market dynamic, that is absolutely something that should not be opposed. The fact that they are so vehemently against people doing the same when they do not wish to participate in that part of the market
Well, yeah, it's like you'd think these
should
people would be
tell you
proud of their
about the
work,
people
you
behind
know?
it.
They've worked so hard.
Exactly.
You'd think they'd be like, well, look at all these great works I've done, all this wonderful stuff. But for some reason,
I
they
see iDubbbz rumored to be making a content cop on Kino Casino. Please, just do that.
yeah,
And I know that we don't like to dig ourselves too much into the shit with that kind of stuff, but
no, but I
all I
will
have
make
to say on
fun
that is
of
please do it,
Mr. Anissa. You know,
Mr. Jama.
yeah, take a fuck.
Yes.
Oh my, nah.
I hope. See, what I hope is that his
Oh,
next
Ian.
content cop is. I hope the next one is on himself, and that's
The only way any of
and that he
all of the
returns
last fucking few years works, the only way
if he
any of this
returns to
shit
Monkey.
happens, is no. He does another one and it's fucking hokey as shit and fucking terrible. And
No, it's about him.
no. He does the full
Okay,
on content
right,
cop
right, go ahead.
against Kino Casino, the whole shebang. Just lays in the whole everything. Anissa finally leaves him for Hassan. Let's be real, she wants that cock. Or the nearest Hassan orbiter that she can get closer to him by. And
Well, he does. He does roids. He's got little mincy faggot balls.
probably
So,
in bad breath from what I hear, and shits himself.
and
But
it's hilarious because that means his already tiny head is oversized.
could be. But of course, this is according to Anissa, his wife. So, thanks, woman,
That's true.
for the information. Haha. But
Shut up,
anyway,
we'll
once she finally leaves him, and everything just kind of all kind of seems to be falling apart.
Oh my god,
If at that
dude!
on that day, there is one thing he can do, and it fixes everything, all at once. Hear me out. So everything goes south. More Pegasus. Fucking Penguin Zero, fucking Aspen Gold. Everybody's like, oh, look at what happened. iDubbbz fell out. Ethan's out there like, iDubbbz, he fell out. Anisha left. Everything fell apart. And he puts out a video. And it's got no title. And it's just him sitting in front of the camera. No title, no text, no transcripts, no nothing. And he opens it up. And he says, okay, so there's this family of entertainers. They go into an office. And then he just goes into the fucking fullest, nastiest, fucking worst, awfulest tale of the aristocrats you ever fucking heard. And then he fucking says it out and then says, the aristocrats, the shit ends. And he just goes full iDubbbz old school from there on. Like, just drop that shit like you were Andy fucking Kaufman. And he would be back. He would be back the next day.
What you made me think of is when she leaves. That's going to be Creator. The video of her leaving is going to be Creator Clash 4.
Oh yeah, there'll be a tag team in that one. Oh.
Yeah, really. So what I was going to suggest is that if the next content cop is on him, and then at the end of it, he just goes, like, the next episode goes right back into his old school video format.
Yeah, he could do that.
As just like that would be the quick solution to me.
That wouldn't be.
I like yours.
That wouldn't be a flipped switch tomorrow. It's done. If he does the full aristocrats thing after everything goes completely to shit, he will be back in 24 hours. He will be where he was when all of this shit started to go down. It'll be like, that motherfucker, no fucking way. Was the Sam Hyde thing a fucking bit too? because people be asking. But that's it. That's the only way he gets back in 24 hours. Aside from that, yeah, he does a
Yeah.
content cop on himself
Unfortunately, he's
and
put his
builds himself back up, which can happen. It could. I'm not expecting it, but it could happen.
it's unfortunate he's decided to dilate his vagina instead of you know go back to what was actually making him money and made him feel better about himself. I
Well,
don't know how the fuck he let that go. It was so clearly something he enjoyed.
pussy changes a man. They say.
Sure, but for a lot of men, it makes them better. For a lot of them,
But not all.
not all.
Again, I mean we're here, might as well. From what I've heard, is he was a virgin before he met her, and I have
Fair.
seen personally a number of guys get roped in with bad women because it's the first woman they're with, and it's like, oh well, this here I am, here we go, we're good, this is it, this is me, and oh man, I've seen it in my own personal life. I've seen two people had this very thing happen to. The one, some years later, finally out on the other side of it, changed, unfortunately, and not really able to support himself fully because, of course, she took everything, because as you do. But yeah, it's one of those things. Oh, but in happier news, out of Canada, we've got a really, really interesting bit of medical news. They've hit a milestone, as a matter of fact.
Oh no.
Oh yes, oh yes.
Oh boy.
Oh man, I'm telling you what, they are at the cutting edge of recycling medicine. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm. Yes.
that was coming. I knew exactly what you're talking about.
Oh yes.
Saw that headline myself.
That is correct. So the world's first successful heart transplant from a patient that was euthanized with medical assistance in dying was done in Canada. 38-year-old man with ALS was lethally injected just 7 minutes before his heart stopped. It was reanimated, transported to the U.S., and, well, provided to the highest bidder. Gotta love it. Ah, good times.
No, I would say this. I'm pretty sure that something like that, there was an agreement already in place,
Oh, undoubtedly.
and then a heart became available.
Oh, sure, sure.
That sounds like an inter-hospital agreements exist even across borders. And that was probably between two groups: one that was willing to take on the risk of using a heart from such a patient, and another that was working on the method behind preserving a heart in that fashion.
Let's see.
I mean, here's the thing: is the euthanasia could have easily just been put him on support to do the surgery, and then take him off support without a heart.
Yeah, that does work.
Because he's anesthetized and he's under pain management. He's just going to die on the table.
Well, to be
The
fair,
problem
they don't
is,
say what lethal injection was used, so I mean, it could.
well, so what, regardless of the lethal injection, they basically going to use potassium chloride to stop the heart.
Sure.
That's pretty straightforward. Just inject it right into the chamber and it stops it. It fucks up the calcium signal.
Oh, I've got some numbers. You're gonna love this. You are gonna love this. There is Oh wow, neat! They made a new category. That's super neato. This new category is called organ donation after euthanization, or after euthanasia, ODE, and it looks like Canada has taken the lead. Good job, Canucks. Let me see here. As of 2021, 136 of 286 global ODEs was in Canada. Good job, Canada. 5%
that's
of
probably in
all
China.
organ transplants in Canada in 2024 used organs from the euthanized. Man, they are really at the forefront of recycling.
So that means that the first time they did that, that was really more of a first for America than it was for Canada.
Very possibly.
But so again, so here's the thing: is one of the reasons they're probably not going to just do like open surgery where they harvest organs from a live patient and then just don't like restart them.
They don't have enough people that
is
speak Mandarin there yet?
is so the reason for that not happening in general is because it looks terrible for surgeon numbers. If you have patients die on the table, your numbers are bad. And it doesn't matter if they start trying to segregate those categories, it's still going to be a dead patient on a table at the end of the day, and hospitals cannot deal with that from surgeons.
Well, don't worry.
So,
I'm sure that the Parliament up there in Canada will figure out a proper way
well, I mean,
to
is
count the
that's an
numbers so
international
that that
issue.
doesn't happen.
That's an international issue because we're not going to do that. I'm just tell you that right now. Like our health system, our healthcare system, is not going to distinguish between the surgeon who had a patient get butchered on the table and the surgeon who just happened to lose a patient on the table. Those are dead patients on tables, and there's no way to get around that. Cutting up a cadaver is way different, even if it's a fresh one.
Mm-hmm.
The same thing goes on with, like, this is one of the reasons why we are certain someone is dead, like, by and large, before we start harvesting them for organs if they're an organ donor in the United States.
Oh, and
Now,
speaking of that, making
we mentioned
sure.
something about this before.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we've spoken on it, but speaking of making sure that people are dead, we should probably talk about that guy that's running in Virginia. The one that wants the other guy's kids to be shot.
Yeah.
Let me see here. What was it? What was it that Jay Jones said? That Donald Trump made me say it. I want to see little children die because I hate their parents' politics. No. That's just paraphrasing what he said. Because let's see. Do I have his direct quote? Oh, look, I do. I'll just read these off to you. So somebody sent Jay Jones, I should say, that would be Democratic Attorney General nominee Jay Jones of Virginia. Just by the by there. Anyway, someone sent him a message saying, they say nice things about everyone, lol. And then Jay Jones, again, of Virginia, says, if those guys die before me, I will go to their funerals to piss on their graves. Send them out awash in something. Jay Jones, the person reply. Kind of in the motherly fashion, as, it might be like Craig Mansfield, And, of course, he says 3 people, replying to that, 3 people, 2 bullets. Gilbert, his opponent, Hitler, and Pol Pot. Gilbert gets 2 bullets to the head. Spoiler, put Gilbert in the crew with the 2 worst people you know, and he receives both bullets every time. A reply by the friend or associate, Jay, please stop. Lol. Okay, says Jay Jones of Virginia. The person says, it really bothers me when you talk about hurting other people or wishing death upon them. And then we have a second exchange later on where the individual says, you weren't simply asking questions and you know it. And Jay Jones, again, Attorney General potentially of Virginia, saying, I genuinely was. I wasn't attacking you. I was trying to understand your logic. The person replies, you weren't trying to understand. You were talking about hoping Jennifer Gilbert's children would die. To which he replies, yes, I've told you this before. Only when people feel pain personally do they move on policy. Let me repeat that. Yes, I've told you this before. Only when people feel pain personally do they move on policy. Kind of sounds like a certain Stephen Bunnell and his literal wishes for death and torture of Republicans. Anyway, the reply from the individual, there isn't. I point blank asked you more than 3 times, and you dug in that you meant it. I honestly am questioning a lot today, to which Jay Jones of Virginia said, I mean, do I think Todd and Jennifer are evil and that they're breeding little fascists? Yes. We're still waiting on, the reply.
Someone like that does not deserve to be in politics, period.
No.
Ever. That's dangerous. Someone like that deserves to, there's a lot thing here. Like, they ought to, I'll say it like this. He ought to feel the pain of joblessness so that he could move policy on being that much of a cunt again.
Well, I've got to be honest. I can't see how any person would want to be in a relationship with such an absolute fucking monstrous ghoul. Being real.
Well, look, McDonald's will take just about anybody to hire as a person in a customer facing job. They'll also fire those people, but they'll hire them.
But again, just everybody. That's the guy running for AG in Virginia, and
Shouldn't
he is
happen.
completely unapologetic in this. He has not. Yeah, that's it. He is completely unapologetic, and his party isn't saying a goddamn word. And
Means they approve.
yeah, tacitly.
That means they approve, and they're scared to let you know about it.
Yeah, yeah.
Otherwise, they would fucking speak about it.
Sure enough. Sure
Like, for
enough.
example, my buddy, my relatively left leaning buddy, I would say he's a liberal, but still left leaning, texting me and saying, hey, sorry about Charlie Kirk. Out of nowhere, like, the next morning, basically when he found out about it, he didn't approve of that.
Well, that's good.
Whereas this person getting death threats from a potential AG and nobody's saying anything about it over there in North Carolina, they approve about it. They approve it.
Yep.
I mean, they can retroactively disapprove of it, but for right now, they approve it.
Yeah. Pretty much
And that's
tacitly.
the way you want to be. Then that's the way you want to be. That's the way you're going to be. Okay, good to know. I think if I was a Republican running in that state, I would be fucking highlighting that constantly right now.
It would be
I'll
helpful.
be making I'll be making certain every single person who would potentially vote for that individual to be anywhere near a position of power knew good and goddamn well what they meant and when they meant it, and how they spoke about things and who they spoke about things to.
Yeah, there's a lot of questions about who
That's a
these
pretty
people are
easy one. It's
talking
cut
with.
and dry. That is cut and dry. That is so easy.
Boy, it's something.
I mean, look, I'll do a dead baby joke, and it's fucking funny. But I also don't want to go out and kill babies.
Sure. Well, it's like this. When when you love your job, you have fun doing it. Sometimes you'll even do it for free. But when you're out here literally calling for the death of people that have that you don't even fucking know, that just well, I don't know. He probably I'm sure he doesn't know them
This guy
personally.
sounds like all he has to do now is say Allahu Akbar.
Yeah, I mean, he sounds like he is ready to go down to the snack bar. He really does. But anyway, speaking of people that do their job for the love of their job, we should probably mention DHS because I I am impressed. I am genuinely impressed to this day. Even today, we are what is it? 4 days or 5 days into the shutdown? 4 days into the shutdown. 5 days
Something like
after
that.
midnight, but whatever. But
Yeah.
4 days into the government shutdown, and they're posting all day. And I quote from October 1st via at DHS.gov, now arrives the hour of action. To which some rando by the name of Spicy Tuna Roll replies, y'all ain't even getting paid. To which they reply, we aren't in it for the money. Our nation matters more. I salute you. Patriots at DHS. I never thought that organization should exist in the fucking first place. But by God, it
It's good.
seems like patriots are in control.
Well, here's the other side of that. They're going to get paid anyway.
Oh yeah, I mean
That's literally the
they're
fucking
just
law.
delayed.
I mean, it sucks having your paycheck delayed, and you might have to take out a loan for some of the people that are involved,
Sure, sure.
but they're going to get paid.
They
I mean,
are.
I hope the shutdown lasts for months at this point, like months and months and months.
Well, the thing is, it
You
might not
notice
really
that?
have to because speaking of the shutdown, All the talk seems to be that we're gonna have to trim the fat because if we're shutting
Well,
down
I
over
want to get in
money
on
like
that real quick.
this, what's that?
I want to get in on that real quick.
Oh yeah. Well,
Specifically,
well, oh, we have to because there's a lot of fat to be trimmed here. With
well,
this.
before we get to all the rest of it, there's a certain layer of it, um, a blubberous 100,000 that are already gone. And the reason that they are gone is because they took the voluntary
Right.
retirement, so
Yeah,
to
that
speak.
okay. So to clarify that, we
That
covered
ended
this a
September
while
30th.
back that
Right.
they did a buyout basically for government employees. Like
Yeah, you can
you
fucking
can
leave kind of buyout.
you can go. We're gonna pay you. I think it was like they tripled
A,
the.
a very good severance.
Yeah, they
A
they
very
hooked them
good
up.
severance.
They were like, look, you can just go, and you're gonna get took care of. And I think it was like 3 years or something of pay on top of everything. It's a nice deal. Their full
But here's the
contracts are bought
alternative.
out,
Here's
and
the
then they would have gone
alternative.
above. But then, but
The
anyway,
alternative. No, hold on.
yeah,
The alternative was you can show up to the office.
yeah.
That's who these people are. Good riddance. Bye. Now, 750,000 people were furloughed. I don't remember if that's including or excluding the 100,000. That doesn't
No,
matter.
no, no. The 100,000 that was like the big. Oh, there's 100,000 employees who just got fired today. That was actually the 100,000 that took the deal early,
Right.
and
But
and
there's
it came up.
750. There's 750,000 that were furloughed. Now, that tells me there are 750,000 jobs that are non essential. So why do we have them?
That's a good question.
Now, unfortunately, this includes people like the guy posting for DHS. But again, if that's not an essential job, then why are we paying for it?
Well, I've got a bit of news actually. There have been some announcements out of the Trump White House,
Right. There we
and
go.
as a
All
matter
right.
of
So I'll
fact,
set you up.
there are some groups that will. They're not going to be on the top of this priority list. Actually, they'll be near the bottom. Of course, any defense industries will, not be
Right.
prioritized, but also the Department of Government Efficiency will be remaining on, in their full capacity after this is all said and done.
Of course.
Which good idea. I like it. I like it quite a lot. Good
Yeah. It's
good
kind of
plan.
like OMB should definitely be involved as essential, or I think the vast majority of OMB anyway. Office of Management and Budget,
Mm-hmm.
the nonpartisan, the same way as GAO, Government Accountability Office. I think those guys should also be more or less held in because
And
again,
just as a
you can
note
say
on
it well
that,
about from the reports.
Ross
Yeah.
Vought's personal staffers, all 437 Office of Management, they will
Yeah.
be exempt also. And
Of
all
course.
uh, Department of Government employees will be staying on. Well, of course, the White House will be furloughing a third of their staff.
That
Just,
sounds like a third of the staff they don't need.
just right away, right out the gate.
Now, some of the staff are probably going to be labeled as non-essential who are pretty well essential.
Well, and to be fair,
Fine.
what'll probably happen is just like when they had some of that first round of Doge firings, they're going to be like, okay, well, we've actually got a couple of gaps. You want to come back? And then the people will come back.
Yeah.
And it'll really just be that
Yeah.
simple.
Exactly. Now that said, also here's one of the funny things. Now you have the Blue Anons and their project 2025, and what the part of the Blue Anon thing, and this is actually a different thing. It wasn't actually Project 2025. It was Doggy and their hiring efforts that actually happened. Not so it's not actually Project 2025, but they'll call it that. There is a ready pool of applicants for government functions that essentially already exists because of that.
Yes, indeed. They have
As the
lists.
ramp up to Doggy and so on, and also RFK, there's a large pool of people that are ready and willing to do their duty for the federal government.
There are. There
And so
absolutely are.
yeah, and so that means that if there is going to be a large population of non-essentials that just seems to go, it's probably going to be largely people that were either partisan in their bureaucratic roles or people who weren't necessarily, but are easily replaced, and replaced with people who are, at the very least, willing to support the admin, if not specifically any admin, then at least this admin. And if they are truly replaceable people, then the next admin that comes in can replace them. But at least that way, it'll remove some of the obvious dumb fuckery that's been going on as far as the ability of government to function internally.
On just as a real quick side note on that, Kash Patel actually did a firing just 2 days ago of, can you guess, an FBI employee, of course, but also a diversity and equity employee, a diversity and equity program coordinator, excuse me. And they were fired for
Well.
displaying an LGBTQ pride flag on their desk, which is, well, perhaps you should.
Well, put it like this.
Do that.
Say, I'm Jewish and I'm not averse to the state of Israel. If I were to put an Israeli flag on my fucking desk at the federal government, I would assume that I would be getting reprimanded for that
I would assume you
because
would.
it's fucking inappropriate.
It is, but I would assume that you wouldn't.
Again, because it's fucking inappropriate.
Mm. Oh,
So if I were to put, or if I was to put a straight pride flag, I'd be asked what the fuck that is. Or I'd hope I would.
That is true. You would.
And I'd also assume I'd get reprimanded for that, as I should. If I put a fucking Palestinian flag up, I would assume I'd get reprimanded for it, because I should.
Now, something that that you might.
In the ideal, of course. Not in the reality, sure, you can say what you will about different flags from different fags.
Yeah. Well, speaking on the notes of reprimand, you would think that someone would get reprimanded for the loss of important data at a place like the FBI, right? You'd think.
Well,
You'd think. If you were not a listener or a viewer of this
I'm
show.
sorry, you're
that
telling
is
me
to
you've
say.
had a bit too much to think tonight?
Maybe. So, where am I going with this? No idea. Because I haven't dropped the key points on here. So let's fucking do it. On January the 6th, there were 2 pipes that were full of something. And they were put into very interesting places. And largely ignored. Because nobody fucking cared about them for some reason. Even though they're supposed to be pipe bombs. That they had to send out their bomb teams and everything for. So, whatever happened with that? Well, nothing ever happened with that. Nothing at all. And all we got was a little bit of grainy footage in the most surveilled city in the United States of America. Possibly the world? Probably not. I mean, come on. Shanghai. But, that said, we have some information. I've got something here from Tony Segura. I got just a great thing on just all the data that's here, because there's a surprisingly large amount. Now, I'd just like to read this all off to you because he says it better than I would. So the J6 pipe bombers had 3 different users' devices on their persons. Contrary to news and FBI reports, while AT&T did, in fact, deliberately corrupt the data for all 3 devices via AT&T SG3, Study Group 3, Secure Room, a.k.a. the Room 641A, there are mirrored copies saved before the execution designed to corrupt the data. They were up to no good during the Butler PA assassination attempt, too. The left will challenge the chain of custody, but with a Trump DOJ, the truth can only see the light of day, and justice will be served if all compromised individuals are removed before proceeding. Why? Just not quoting. Because they'll fucking corrupt more of the data. FYI, AT&T is NSA. They can perform the deep state's dirty work, easily deleting logs, but now, with sophisticated AI, they are able to repopulate logs with proper timestamps to provide any necessary cover. Plus, they can now create an entire chain of incriminating or exculpatory text messages between unlimited users.
That's going to be tough with the incrimination on AI-generated stuff.
Mm-hmm. Between an unlimited number of users to use in government prosecutions. Toto, I have a feeling we're not in Kansas anymore. Additionally, D'Antonio not only lied, they had the original backup data about J6, but he was behind what? The Governor Whitmer kidnapping scheme. And then...
Oh, boy.
Oh, yes.
Oh,
now,
boy.
And he says then, and a look at FirstNet's board at the time, and I'll just read off some names for you. You might recognize them, you might not. Anyway, The first
Uh-huh.
listed board member, Merrick B. Garland. The second
Interesting.
listed board member,
You don't say.
Alejandro Mayorkas.
Uh-huh.
And then, of course, there's a fellow by the name of Robert Brown, Billy Bob Brown Jr., Shalonda Young, and Joe Carlisle. Names you probably have never heard.
Shalonda Young. No, I have not heard that name.
But I'll bet you might recognize a couple of them. And reading directly from this, we did a complete geofence. We have complete data, not complete because there's some data that was corrupted by one of the providers, not purposely by them, right? It's just unusual circumstances that we have corrupt data from one of the providers. D'Antonio testified in a transcribed interview, but for that day, which is awful because we don't have that information to search. So could it have been that provider? Yeah, with our luck, with this investigation, it probably was, right? D'Antonio served as the assistant director in charge of the FBI's Washington field office until he stepped down in late 2022. A lawyer for the retired agent
Interesting.
did not immediately return an email Wednesday seeking comment. Can you imagine? How
Oh,
peculiar.
very cool. Hmm.
So, some things that we did a little bit of at least basic reporting on are coming home to roost, as it were. So, there we are. And it does. This ties back to something else we reported on, which there isn't anything else to report on, unfortunately. But the AT&T office that was censored by Google, that some dude drove a truck full of, I think, ammonium nitrate up to, and
Jesus
popped it
Christ.
off after putting out a bunch of warnings to get away, get away. And then certain intelligence assets found themselves without the ability to do certain things for some days. Oddly.
Uh-huh.
So, yeah, it's something. Anyway, we got fucking Gavin Newsom's Vance posting
Fascinating.
now. What? Yep,
Oh man.
twice as a matter of
Dude,
fact.
his okay, so I got where are they? Hold on. I went ahead and sent Bats an image that has the two of these guys and let me just go find the original real quick. It was I memed therefore I am, so that's what the fuck was that? Well, irrelevant off the top of my head. I have pictures of the two individuals ostensibly that are in charge of the account.
Mm.
And here they are. So every time you see a post from them, it's because these two from the left, if you couldn't tell,
Oh,
um,
so how best to describe this individual to the ones listening? So we have
a Latinx queen and a guy who probably puts his undies on backwards so they feel better.
I don't know. I mean, he looks like the kind of man that appreciates the feel of a panty. So I would figure that because that way, you front and back, whatever. Either way, you don't have
Oh,
anywhere for
okay,
anything to
sure.
fall
Oh
out.
yeah, it's the sheer material, of course. Less scratching when he's tucking.
Oh yeah, yeah, and I mean, let's be real. There's not a lot there, so it's not like he needs the space. So it is what it is. And then you've got the
I guess it's more of a folding then, isn't it? Yeah.
yeah, well, anyway. He's got the hawkish nose, the thick rimmed glasses. For some reason, she doesn't have the thick rimmed glasses, but
She has the I think she has contacts, but she has
possible.
these
But she
wonderful
does
flowing
have
blue
blue hair,
locks.
blue as
And she has that
dark
shitting
ocean.
grin on her face, and it's not a bad picture for her. To be
No,
honest,
no,
it's not a bad
surprisingly
picture
good
for
and
him. They're both like they both look like
presentable.
this is clearly this is a pair of LinkedIn pictures.
Sure.
Like they both look like they're relatively professional people, um, but they also look exactly like you'd expect. One of them looks like Pat the androgynous person.
Well, a
Got
thin
a bit of
version
got a bit
of
of a trim on the one side.
thin version of Alex Soros. Yes, I know, a thin version of that. Yeah, like a
Okay.
skinny Alex Soros. Yes, picture
But he
that.
also no, but he also trimmed. He doesn't have the beard.
Well, I'm just giving
We'll give
some
him
people
that.
to work from.
Maybe he can't grow one. Yeah, the other one clearly got brain rotted in college.
Well, it's possible that it happened beforehand. You never know. Although it does seem that,
It's possible.
that's
She fits the stereotype pretty well though.
It, yeah, well, yeah,
Although she
yeah,
hasn't
she does.
shaved one side and gone vegan yet, so
That's true, and she
leave it
doesn't.
to what
And
it
neither
is.
one of them has senpaku eyes, so that is something.
Well, again, I think these are LinkedIn photos, so I think you're going to find that on LinkedIn, as schizophrenic of a social media site as that is, and it is a social media website, it's not just for jobs. There are people who are on there posting how much they love working
Yeah,
a
there
lot,
are.
constantly. It's totally not a schizoid rumor mill. Anywho, these are clearly just like LinkedIn pictures. And so again, they look relatively professional. I'm sure they're good at what they do. What they do is not very good, but I'm sure they're competent at it. They get their paychecks. I'm sure they don't just believe Gavin; they probably believe in him. Uh, but these are the ghouls that are providing me with entertainment on Gavin Newsom's timeline.
Now I'm gonna say this: JD Vance could do the funniest fucking thing this Halloween.
He could. He
He
should.
could. He
He
if
should.
he gets a perm and grows his beard out.
Dude.
Oh my god!
Dude.
If he and I mean I've seen
Now,
this man
now, hold
posting.
on. Here's the one thing I thought: is it's a bit much to ask him to eat that much candy to fully method act that. But
That's true. Well, the other thing he could go as emo Vance, and
yes, he
that would
could.
be that might even be funnier. That might even be funnier because it's kind of a deeper cut.
It is.
I mean, Fat Vance is great. Everybody knows Fat Vance. But yeah, Goth Vance. Man, Emo Vance? That
Well,
would
again,
be
again,
that would be such the
the
early 2000s throwback. Telling you, good stuff, good stuff. And speaking of throwbacks, here's something that we reported on a while ago. It would
here's
appear.
the video that would be most beneficial though, because or is this the one? No, no, that's not the one. Hold on a second. I'm sorry.
Oh
Oh, I
yeah.
swear I downloaded this so I could send it to Bats. That's not the one. That's the
Well,
shit
no
Gavin
worries.
Newsom one.
I'll send the one
Okay,
that
yeah,
somebody took
I'm
the Newsom one and kind of worked it
the,
up a
the
little bit.
dance the dance the dancing Vance one, the one with the Afro punk or whatever it was as the music in the background.
Oh yeah, no, that one's good. Someone actually took the. I think I've got a good one because I'll share the one that Newsom
Okay, I'm gonna delete this
sent
one.
out, and then this guy by the name of Jeff Holm, he put a little bit more suited of a song onto the track. You may have heard of it, maybe not. Our listeners probably have. He switched it out for Auslander Rouse, which I think that's a good call. That's a good song. I think JD would dance to that. You know. But yeah, this is the second time that he's posted, so, that he's Vance posted, no less. We are in a silly world and a silly time. But
The
anyway,
guy's gonna get memed into office, and it's
yes,
gonna be fucking funny.
and it's going to be the Democrats that do it.
There's nothing they can. The thing is, there's nothing they can do about it, and they already know it.
Well, unfortunately, they're just not very media literate. Wham, wham. Ah, so I am going to read a post, and I'm not going to tell you who it's from, and I'll let you see if you can figure it out because we reported
Oh no.
on this a while ago. You'll probably get it. Besides that, I posted it in here. But anyway, imagine you are an 18-year-old and you immigrate to England. You become a British citizen. You get into Cambridge University, one of the top universities in the world. English is not your first language. Money is tight. You work part-time at McDonald's to pay the bills. You work hard. You graduate, BA with honors, and then a master's. You've made it. Then you get accepted for a PhD. You dedicate your life to your research. You get your first
Right.
book deal. You have a fiance. You're expecting a first baby. Then you read in the papers completely false stories that you had an affair with President Trump's national security advisor and that you're a Russian spy. You then realize that the person who put those stories in the papers is your own professor, a mentor of 20 years, and that he coordinated with the CIA, the FBI, and British intelligence
Wow.
as part of the anti Trump plot. Then you find out your professor was serving as a British intelligence officer all the time you knew him since you're 18 years old. You know who we're talking about, but
Huh.
for those at home, Svetlana Lukava. We reported on this at the time. The Russian lady that was sleeping around and was the media this and that and the everything. No, no. Much like every single other aspect of the Russia hoax, it was entirely constructed of nothing, whole cloth and lies.
Interesting.
Unsurprisingly, so it's good to actually hear from the woman herself the story that happened. Will will any of our detractors believe it? No, they'll just say that she's a Russian liar, even though you can quite literally go and look
Uh
each
huh.
and every one of these things up and find that they're entirely accurate. But there
This
we are.
sounds like a lot of Russian gobbledygook to
I
me.
know, doesn't
I'm
it? I know, comrade.
fucking
Just
wild.
a bunch of garbage stuff.
Fucking what?
I will say something though. I will say something, and I will quote, as a matter of fact, from a man who writes books. A
Oh
man
boy.
who writes books. Yes, Robert Heinlein, which he writes some good books. Anyway, the United
We
States
noticed.
has become a place where entertainers and professional athletes are mistaken for people of importance. Well, yeah,
As they are.
yeah,
Greatly.
uh huh. So,
Greatly so.
let's walk through something that's happened over I don't know past 3 days. I'd say.
Alrighty.
So we'll just do this from the point of view of not specifically Nancy Pelosi or Chuck Schumer, but a Pelosi or a Schumer, and that would be illegals don't qualify for Medicaid. Okay, well we
Oh,
kind of all
so
know that.
so I was on top of that one. There's some specifics on this.
Oh, there are,
Just
but I just want to go through the steps because there's a
okay. All
series
right.
of steps that have happened just in the past like 3 fucking days. So illegals don't qualify for Medicaid. Well, they only qualify for emergencies,
That's
not
what they do.
full Medicaid. Well, they only qualify for full Medicaid in some states, but it's paid for with state funds. Well, the federal funding
Well,
we're asking for won't go to illegals. Well, only a small fraction of the federal funding we're asking for is for illegals. Just a just a 1-2 step you through that one there as to how that all played out. Like I haven't seen it gone from a, it's not real to it's happening and it's good that fast in a
no,
while.
it has. It's absolutely it's there. Like we are there. It's happened. They are on
And it's a
top of
good
that
thing,
as
by
it's
golly.
good. It's a good thing. It's so fucking disgusting.
Absolutely is.
So the specifics of it are that technically they don't qualify for insurance. They're not going to be covered by that. They're not covered under Obamacare. Okay, except when they are. What
Right.
happens is most illegals go to the emergency room, and they know this. By the way, they are fully fucking aware of this when they talk about this stuff. They are not like spitballing or talking out of their ass. They are the reason they are specific. The reason Schumer specifically posted and said they are not they do not qualify for health insurance coverage is because they don't use health insurance except when they're committing identity fraud, which case they do. Um, they go to the emergency room, they give a fake name, they never pay. That is covered by the state and reimbursed by the federal government always. Period. Done. Like that is not a controversial or unobvious or obscure thing. That is just the way it is done. And they know this and they lie about it anyway. Because the specific point is Americans don't want health care coverage for illegal aliens. Not the insurance, but the coverage, us actually paying for them. And we're still doing it.
Yep.
And they do try and say, because some of them are dumb enough to just say outright that they don't want to, they're not eligible for healthcare coverage. It's like, oh no, the fuck they are. Uh, it is by law required that someone shows up in the emergency room, you treat them, unless you can't.
Mm-hmm.
That's as a hospital. If a doctor doesn't want to treat a patient, the doctor has the right to say no. And then they might be without a job, but they have the right to say no. A hospital does not have that right. A public hospital specifically never can say no. They have to treat people. If they have the capacity, they have to treat. They have to have a really fucking good triage reason to say no within a reasonable time frame.
Yeah,
You know,
because
so you're sitting there for 5 hours waiting because someone else,
yeah, it's not a
because someone mowing
hypocritic
lawns for
oath;
a
it's
living,
a
right?
hippocratic oath.
Yeah. So like this shit is like 100% not up for debate. It is absolutely happening, and it absolutely shouldn't. And
Yep,
it's just the way it is.
and that makes it worse for everybody too, because the American Care Act is garbage, and it ruined everything. And then on
Oh
top
yeah,
of
it
that, they're
used
going
to
to
be you
throw
could get.
these millions and millions of people into the mix. Thanks,
It used to
fuckers.
be. It used to be before Obozocare gave them all a free ride in the market. It used to be that healthcare insurance had competition that substantially limited their ability to fuck you. Um, and that meant that you had like a $200 at most premium monthly payment and like a $1,000 a year deductible. So if you got $1,000 that landed on your head, that was the cap. You no longer had out of pocket out of that point. Like your out of pocket at that point was only going to be your premiums, which again was limited to like $200 a month. And while yes, inflation is a major player in the change in pricing, which was again due to mostly their fucking policies. The fact is, it used to be that also you could keep your doctor, right? That turned out to be a fucking lie.
Yeah.
Like they said, your premiums are going to go down, your deductible is going to go down, you're
If you
going to be
like
able
your
to keep your
coverage, you can
doctor.
keep your coverage. If you like your doctor, you can keep your doctor.
All of
Uh
that was a
huh.
lie. All of it. Every single bit of it was a fucking lie. We're going to have the fucking website up and running, ready to go as soon as the act comes into effect. Also a lie. So, and I got to tell you, like, because I'm stuck on that coverage right now, Obozocare. Like, it's a marketplace, sure. There's not a single payer option, but you still have to you still have to fucking buy insurance. Because again, if you don't have insurance, they notify the IRS, or the IRS knows about it. Like, why is that a thing? That was only not a thing for like a year or two under Trump, and so the first year of Biden, that was a thing
Yep.
because it was the previous tax year, right? So for the 2019 tax year, you didn't have a reporting requirement. I think it was 2018 tax year as well. But all the other tax years since Obamacare, and what was it, 2010 or 2009 maybe?
I can't remember exactly.
Well, I know it was 2010. It was 2010 because they rammed it in right before the election, the midterms.
But of course.
So yeah, so basically since it was implemented, and I think it started in like 2014 or whatever, right? Um, when it actually like came into effect, yada yada. That was before that. Regardless,
Oh, 2010.
right off the get
With
go, it was shit.
with most of it going into effect in 2014. You're right.
Okay, awesome, thank you. I thought I remembered that right. I didn't. I wasn't stuck on that at the time. I wasn't stuck on Obozocare at the time. I had Aetna who didn't want to pay for fucking anything. Uh, don't get Aetna. Fuck Aetna. That's my professional opinion as a chemical engineer. Is fuck Aetna.
Fair.
Watch me get stuck on it with my first job, right? Or first job out of the go here. Anywho, yeah, that their marketplace is shit. You still stuck paying for it. It's let's see, I'm on the order of $600 a month now. Like that's triple, triple what kind of like the median was. That's triple the median payment before Obozocare is what I'm paying, and I'm paying for like bare bones shit. I didn't go for any of those mid or higher tier plans because broke.
Oh yeah, yeah. I know that feeling.
So like when I hear someone lauding the virtues of Obozocare, my first thought is so either you're not paying for it yourself or your company is paying for it with you. Because I gotta tell you, the negotiating power having a company or say a whole federal fucking government behind you, pretty good. That would be the single payer option.
Yeah, kind of funny
The
what you can
negotiating power
actually
of
get
an
off of.
individual is pretty fucking poor.
Not a lot of collective bargaining power as a single person.
Now, I'll say this also, like The price matching across countries. The threat that we're going to allow our market to start touching other markets and buy back drugs. That dramatically dropped drug prices. And who let that
Already,
happen?
actually.
That was Trump. Yes, like something that used to cost me $75 a month minimum with one of those like coupon cards. $0 last this month,
Huh.
well, last month, so end of September. $0, $0 out of my wallet. And again, I got like relatively crap health insurance. Again, leaps and bounds ahead of Aetna, but crap. Well, I'd say crap option. The company's good.
Fair enough.
I'm biased. I really fucking hate Aetna. I
It
got so
seems like.
they wouldn't pay for one of my prescriptions, and like I got my doctor to write the letter. We ran it up through the state ombudsman, and of course the state ombudsman in every state, those are doctors that are basically given kickbacks by insurance companies. So of course they're gonna fucking say no. Like my dosage is within the trial, like the fucking medical trials that actually demonstrated to the FDA the reason to use it and what the doses should be. My dosage was in the middle of that. It's like the fuck, man.
Yeah, so pretty much, use case has it
And then
worked?
they're just like, no, we're not gonna do it. Like, okay, well, fuck you. It's fucking stupid.
What was it? I saw something that you can do with your insurance companies. It's like I need proof of that decision or something like that, and then they have to actually go to one of their physicians and get them to
Well, that's the
review the
thing is I
thing.
ran all the way up through the state ombudsman, which means I ran up through the physician. The physician. So the state ombudsman is supposed to be an impartial
Oh,
arbiter.
so they shut you down
And again,
every step of the journey. Lovely.
yeah, I went the full fucking money. Like that's as far as you can go. There is no federal version of that.
Yeah.
Even with Obozo Care, there's no federal option to go and say, hey, uh, this is literally from the medical trial. Like I have a book on the medical trial stuff that went into it specifically because of this, and it's just they're like, nope, not gonna do it.
I believe that. I believe that. And
Like,
speaking of
it's
stupid
fucking ridiculous.
government decisions, we should probably talk about this one. Quoting here from Governor Kevin Stitt of Oklahoma, not of New
I
York.
don't, I do not mean to be that guy, but that is immediately a name that just sounds silly.
Well, it's Kevin Stitt. So yeah, it's not the.
It's just silly. That's entirely a personal bias because
Yeah,
it
that's
sounds
fine.
silly. It's not because it's actually bad, but still, like, it's it.
Well, damn, if I could remember. It's better than Gaius Longinus. But
I am.
anyway,
I promise, I am a mature individual. I am an adult, but I am also a male, so I'm a boy.
yeah, that's fair. That's fair. But anyway,
I have my flaws.
he's pointed something out that has recently been, and we've actually, I think we covered this in the last episode, at least in brief, just to mention it. But they're actually doing something about it over here. Of course, this being out of New York State and California, commercial driver's license. Obviously, we talked about the
Oh yeah.
situation out of California, which is they're just giving them out. Well, the situation out of New York is even more interesting because they are
Oh
also giving them
yes.
out, but they're giving them out with no name given.
No name.
Which,
Yes.
okay, that's pretty crazy, but it's a state ID,
You know what's
right?
great though is they're getting caught and
They
they are
are.
being arrested.
They are. But, well, that's why I mentioned this from the governor of Oklahoma. But something
Yes. Yes.
that is on this one New York CDL is a golden star up at the top right corner. And you're never going to guess what that little gold star means.
I think I will.
It means that that's a real ID. And as we
Well,
all
I mean, it's,
know,
it's not just real ID; it's real ID compliance,
mm-hmm,
which means it's a real ID, but like it specifically means it's compliance with the Real ID Act.
that means this went to the government, and this has the government seal on it. This is A-OK. Because,
Yeah.
as we all know,
So
the Real ID Act, that is to help catch these people so that
yeah, so
none
that
of this
specifically
happens.
means that it complied with it, and that the compliance requirement is in effect at state level. That's the issue. That's the reason I mentioned that is because it doesn't go back to federal databases. Well, at
Oh,
least it doesn't. It doesn't go to federal employees to enforce it.
now my thought was that they had to report all the. Oh, maybe they don't have. We'll have.
The enforcement is at the state level, yeah.
So, man, that's even chintzier. Well, but
Well,
that
it's
being
it's just
said,
it just means like
that
it's real ID and name only is what you could say, but like in theory it catches in part in practice. In
well,
theory it catches terrorists, shit like that.
well, it
Like
doesn't.
they're
But
they're supposed to go to like terrorist databases
yeah,
and
cross
check
check
those
this,
like
that, and the other.
NCIS for guns, that kind of thing.
But what what that could do, because let's just say that these two systems are completely divorced. There's giant air gaps, and the only way that anything gets reported is by two people actually talking to each other. Let's say that's the case. Well, then that just gives the federal government a whole lot more room to work in New York State because they're completely fucking around and dropping the ball on their end.
Oh yeah.
Even even being as generous as I can, absolutely as generous as possible, they're dropping the ball. Now that's not to that's being generous, and I don't think that this
Yes
is
it
a
is.
matter of generosity. So, with that being said, yeah, there we are. Good times, good times,
Yeah,
and of
the
course,
no name licenses are exactly who you imagine.
mm-hmm.
They're the people who do the wonderful. God, I saw a video just recently. The
U-turns.
wonderful U turns,
Yeah,
the tracks U turns. Yeah, that was just fucking egregious.
a U-turn on a fucking interstate. What the fuck
No,
is
no,
wrong with
no,
you?
not just those. There was one where the guy did a U turn on train tracks and almost took a train, like trailer, head on. Like that, the cab was off the tracks, but the train was coming, and the guy just kind of managed to move the trailer off the tracks. I guess what they're doing is because of the wide berth given in the intersection for railroad crossings, they go onto the tracks and go down the tracks a bit, and then they back up, and then so the cab is able to get out, and then they go off the tracks to go down the road again. So they do a U turn that way.
These fucking
More like a K
idiots.
turn.
These
Yeah.
fucking idiots.
So a guy like the fucking it's well, I guess the euphemism we could coin, well, not coin so much as just appropriate, is flip flop Americans.
I've heard that term.
It's just fucking wild because like and they're just fucking oblivious. Like
And worse yet,
this
that they don't
they're
even fucking speak English.
that's the
Quite
thing is you
quite
can't
literally.
yell at. It's hard because you can't like yell at them because they don't understand. One, they're not going to understand what they did wrong because they're fucking idiots. But like two, they're not going to understand why you're so angry at them because they're fucking idiots and they don't speak English. And even if they do speak English, they could just pretend not to,
Mm-hmm.
and they do.
Yes, they do.
They cynically take advantage of our generosity in that fashion.
Sure enough.
And I wish it wasn't the case because it sounds like it sounds as genuinely cynical and far fetched as it should. But they happily take advantage of our willingness to believe that oh poor you don't speak English here. It's like motherfucker, this guy managed to get a cab attached to a trailer and load the trailer in this country. So either the place that they went to load up didn't have anything to say to him that needed him to respond, or he went to somewhere that was helping him out, which is worse.
That it is. That it is. And I'd like to remind everyone of, well, actually, not fully a year ago, actually 10 months ago. Well, just shy of 10 months ago. As a matter of fact, I believe it was actually Christmas Day. And a good friend of the White House, Vivek Ramaswamy, had some choice words to share with America. I won't share those awful things that he said because I won't lower myself to speak so poorly of my fellow Americans, but he had some unkind things to say, and it would appear that here we are, about a year later. Oh, how the turns have tided. Wait, whatever. I was trying to do that funnier. It doesn't matter. Anyway, out of the U.S.
Oh, how the
Department of
turns have tabled,
Labor,
yes.
a direct post from the U.S. government. Boy, what a difference in time makes. Young Americans deserve the opportunity to achieve the American dream, yet many have been shut out because of H-1B abuse. That's why Project Firewall is so important. It protects Americans
Yep.
and ensures they are prioritized in the hiring process. Quote, the Trump administration is standing by our commitment to end practices that leave Americans in the dust. As we establish economic dominance, we must protect our most valuable resource, the American worker. Launching Project
Uh-huh.
Firewall will help us ensure that no employers are abusing H-1B visas at the expense of our workforce, said U.S. Secretary of Labor Lori Chavez DeRemer. By rooting out fraud and abuse, the Department of Labor and our federal partners will ensure that highly skilled jobs go to Americans first.
Good.
Boy,
So this actually brings up this one reminds me. Cognizant recently
which one?
had some yeah. Turns out that's not really a question that matters anymore. So yeah, Cognizant of New Jersey fame,
Mm-hmm.
um, just a way to scam and spam, as it turns to be.
Hmm.
Yeah, so that's a fun one. See, if you're just gonna be using it, and you can imagine who the brass are. If it turns out that you're just going to scam the country, why are you here? Like, so, like, I have no issues with us just getting rid of them. Um, Cognizant, the people who naturalize themselves, immediately brought over their family member and decided to have children right there and then to make
Mm-hmm.
sure they got an anchor baby,
Yep.
that kind of shit. Like,
Yep.
I don't have any issue with that being removed, like denaturalized and removed. I think it's terribly inconvenient for us to have to go through that process, and that's pretty disturbing. But
Certainly is.
yeah, fine, don't care. They make the choices, and those are choices. They can whine about it, but it's a choice they made.
Indeed. Indeed. There are a lot of people that are making a lot of choices these days. Interesting
Yeah,
ones,
I
even
wish,
sometimes.
like, here's the thing is, like, I wish it was not the case that that kind of shit happened, but it just happens to be the case. And I'm not going to be made to feel bad about it if, if, or, well, in any case, I'm not going to be made to feel worse about their strife, which is entirely self inflicted from their own actions and behaviors, over that of the people who live here.
Yeah,
I cannot be fucking bothered to do that. That is
absolutely not.
not fair, and I don't
You are
care.
going to have to pay me to care about your bullshit. That's the only way this is going to work.
Pretty much.
Give me
Yeah.
monies, and I will care about your bullshit.
Oh, even then, if you're gonna cheat and you're gonna game the system like that, I'm not gonna care.
And that said, no, we aren't getting the $7,000 a week. Just in case you were
Yeah.
curious, like you couldn't guess. But in
Right.
related to something we were talking about earlier, and kind of what we're talking about now, Trump RX. It is a new website that's going to allow Americans to buy drugs directly. Of course, you'll have to have your prescriptions and such, but you'll be able
Well,
to buy
yes.
your drugs directly from the manufacturers at a significantly reduced cost. Now, obviously, this is not going to be covered by your insurance, but when you find out what it costs in cash, you're going to be like, "Oh my, holy
Huh.
Christ! Why
Well, so
is
this
this
all this
so
will do is also
inexpensive?"
get rid of the middle management issue.
Mm-hmm.
The drug managers at FDA,
Yes.
and that's they're allowed to get kickbacks via very fucking stupid technicalities. they're allowed to get kickbacks from drug manufacturers. So
They,
I'm sure that the drug
they,
manufacturers will. So here's the one downside I see is that means that a pharmacist, while they might be involved at some step, is not going to be directly customer facing in a way that is going to be scalable and of specific use to the customer. Like that, having a pharmacist involved is important. They don't just hand you your drugs at the counter. There's actually like
no, it is
legitimate
it is
uses
actually
for
a
them.
good idea to be able to consult
Like,
with an
for example,
actual,
recompounding.
yeah,
Well, it's not just consultation. Compounding of drugs is a thing. Some people are not able to swallow a horse pill, so they get their pills basically broken down and remade. Some people have specific needs that are best met by doing combinations of the drugs that they are provided. And you have to think like these are services that are generally provided more or less for free at a pharmacy. So that's not something that you can just have done. Like even Amazon Pharmacy, you're not going to be able to get your stuff just like generically recompounded. And even so, like the pharmacists they use are going to be kind of, let's be honest, like they're going to be newbies. They're not going to be the really well experienced ones that know, for example, combining two types of drugs in the same pill might render one of them totally fucking inactive.
true. But by that
You know,
same
for
notion, there are compounding pharmacies that do work online currently today, even before the
this
implementation
is
of
true.
this.
Yes,
And so one would hope that that's something that we should try and do. We should try and bring some light to some of those and see if we can actually get somebody from one on, because that would be
sure.
really cool.
Again, like in general, a large online pharmacy like Amazon Pharmacy is they're generally going to be using cheaper labor, which means less experienced pharmacists, and they're generally not going to be offering significant services like compounding, or at
You
least
know,
compounding by people who know what they're doing.
this kind of thing could lead to a bit of a resurgence of kind of the mom and pop internet of the old days, at least in some
You hope
places.
so.
Hope, but it actually could. This isn't just me being like,
But
it'd be nice if this
you
thing could
see,
possibly happen. It's like
well, yeah, but you see
this
my
is not an
concerns though.
unreasonable in a turn of events.
You see the kind of like the major concerns I have with that.
Oh, certainly, yeah. I mean,
Um,
you're taking out
but
somebody
like,
that can genuinely help in a
yeah,
lot of situations, and
but
that's
for
fair.
generic Joe Blow on the street who just needs to get his fucking antibiotic, like just fucking give me the pills. Like I have a cold. My doctor said yes. Here I am.
Yeah,
For that kind of person, for that kind of customer, an online pharmacy is leaps and bounds easy. Like just if it gets delivered in the mail promptly, first class mail shows up the next day or whatever.
well, you got to get your diabetes
Um,
drugs. There you go.
sure. Oh yeah, you get your monthlies, your simple monthlies like diabetes,
Mm-hmm.
like your metformins,
Yeah,
whatever.
whatever, what have you? Your regular, ordinary stuff that you know when you're going to need it. Nothing's going to be changing. You just need to get it at this time and have it. It's perfect.
Yeah,
You could ask for
for
nothing
routine
better.
shit. Yeah, and especially if you don't need it compounded. If you just need like and that's the majority of people. If you just need your drugs delivered like on time, promptly, and regularly, that's probably gonna be fine. The one thing that's the downside is if there's any issues with the mail, it kind of fucks you.
That's
And
true.
I say this with the full knowledge that there's issues with uh, supply at the point of sale, so at the pharmacy. Sometimes they don't have what you need in the pharmacy that day, but generally,
Well, they can find
they'll
you
have it
what
like,
you need at the
yeah,
time if
they'll
they
have some
can.
in town. Generally, they'll have some in town, and they'll be able to shift product between pharmacies, or they'll be able to tell you the other pharmacy and transfer your meds, your prescription over there.
Yeah.
Or like it's not necessarily like you're at
There's
CVS
there's a lot of benefits to
and you
brick and
stick with
mortar
CVS. You could go to
pharmacies
Walgreens.
to be sure. Yeah.
There's ways around some of this kind of stuff locally, which are so much more
Well, it's kind
easy
of the
to
same thing
facilitate.
with, yes, it's awesome that you can do telehealth and talk to your doctor at any
Yeah,
time, but you still need those in-person visits.
yeah.
Right?
Well,
To put it simply.
there are certain things there are certain things that would be so much easier if you have a doctor that's known you for a very long time who could just say, yeah, they're still good, and then just give you the fucking drug.
Yeah.
And because the DEA says so, you still have to go into an office visit every 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one more time per year than my current coverage covers for free, which I get, which is fine. Whatever the fucking copay is, doesn't matter. The fact is, like, I only get covered 3 times a year, and I'm required by DEA to go in 4 times a year. Period.
Wham, wham.
Those 3 times are supposed to be generic health checks, or like if you get a cold. I am required to go in 4 times a year. So, I'm kind of fucked either way. And the same thing's kind of true, with getting stuff from a pharmacy. I have to show my driver's license every time. Um, so I can't really do like online with that so easily. But part of the way that's a good thing. Um, to specify a drug that I'm not on, that I would agree this is still somewhat relevant to, like methamphetamine, is kind of a drug of last resort in the stimulants category for ADD, but it is still prescribed, and that would not be one I would want floating through the mail
Mm-hmm.
generically.
That said, I'm sure plenty of it does.
Yeah, right. From a couple of
I
those
mean,
Indian
I'm not
pharmacies,
gonna
you
lie
might
here.
say, located in Mexico.
I have known many people in my days, and I have known people that have received packages at their homes,
Yeah.
and we'll just leave it at that. They were well paid
Yep.
for the receipt of those packages. But anyway, moving on, because we are. I know you want to keep it at a reasonable
Oh
length,
yeah,
and it's getting a
we're way
little
past.
long in the tooth for old Craig. Got his jammies ready to go. So let's throw out a couple of feel good. Well, you know what? We'll get there in 1 second. Let's throw out a little bit of a tale that unfolds over the course of just a few days. There's a reporter by the name of Nick Sorter, and he is in Portland right now. And
Yep.
we'll start with some reporting that he did on another reporter by the name of Nick Shirley. And Nick was on the
Yep.
ground reporting. This would have been either the 28th or the 29th. And he was on the ground reporting about the riots. And some Antifa guys get up in his face. And the guy is literally threatening him. Like, hey, I'm going to fucking smoke you, dude.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, that was a good one.
and this is a really good video. So I'll be showing a link that's got the video. Because as the guy is saying
Post the
all
full
this...
half hour one.
Well,
Really.
I'll just include the shorter one, the 1 minute long one, because that's got all the important stuff. And if you want
Right.
to, Nick Shirley's just linked below in Sorter's tweets, so you can hop over to his timeline, take a look at the full video if you like. But this hits the important parts. So anyway, the Antifa dude's following him along, giving him all kinds of beef, giving him all kinds of grief, and Nick there, he's like, what's the fucking problem? I'm leaving. Just leave me be. To paraphrase. And, well, then, depending on how keen your eyes are, you'll see a flash of green on the screen that kind of washes over the whole thing like a big old pshoo. And then...
Well, he was right, yes.
Yeah, yes.
There's a pew-pew involved.
Oh, yes, there is. So you see that, and then you see a light flash twice from the top of a roof, from the same place that big green sploosh came from. And then right after that, you see a little green dot on that fella that's being so antagonistic.
On Tough Guy, yeah.
Yeah, and it's trained about his head region, about his head and neck. And then Nick is like, dude, there's a sniper on you. And he's like, I don't give a fuck. He's like, no, dude, there's like actually there's for real a sniper on you. You should chill. And he's like, I don't fuck you, man. And then an Antifa dude walks up behind him. He's like, dude, they've got a fucking sniper on you. And then dude's like, Tilly dude's off. It's a great little video. It warm the cackles of your heart. It will. But this is where we begin with Nick Sorter, because he reported on some things. Stuff's going crazy. Well, the obvious thing to do if things are going crazy and you're a journalist Well, you go there yourself. And, well, that's just what he did. Nick Sorter, he headed on down to Portland and, do some on the ground reporting himself. Just yesterday, well, as of now, the day before yesterday, he was reporting at, believe, near the ice facility. And then later on, just around, I believe earlier today, either late last night or early this morning, he was reporting in and around some Antifa in the vicinity of the Chicago Police Department. Not the department itself, actually, members of police officers. And those police officers arrested him. Didn't really provide a lot of explanation. Didn't really arrest any of the people harassing him. But arrested him. And took him in. Now, he was released the next day. We don't really know if charges have been filed. There's not a lot of data on that. But what we do know is that the Department of Justice has heard about these events and wants answers why he was taken in and no one else. And we have direct questions from the Department of Justice. Shall we say here, you know what? Give her a little bit of shit, Pam Bondi, but hey, sometimes there are some things. But this one came down from the tippity tip top. Don Treasy himself has called on his staff to review federal aid in Portland and what needs to be cut, per White House correspondent Carolyn Levitt. Quote, "We will not fund states that allow anarchy." So they're asking questions, they're cutting the monies, and, well, that's really just what needs to happen.
So a little bit of context on that.
Sure.
Additional context, let's say. There was a video I saw from before the arrest. Not necessarily the same night. I don't know if that was the case, but it's possible. Of Nick Sorter grabbing a flagpole with a burning American flag out of someone else's hands, tossing it on the ground and stepping on it to put it out.
I've heard of this.
And then picking it back up and walking off. That is, unfortunately, in this case, that is just theft of private property. And that could have been what was picked up on as an excuse to pick him up.
Potential.
Now, in additionally, there's an EO that was signed just recently that would prioritize the prosecution of persons at various jurisdictional levels who are engaging in unprotected activities. And Trump decided to announce this EO by saying that people who burn their flags, he might have said flags in general, but the implication is their flags. People who burn flags will be prosecuted.
And
which is
just a real quick on that.
Strictly
too,
speaking, anti-First Amendment.
Well, real quick, because that's the big argument. Is that
right?
That's
the EO
is the
not,
executive order is actually fairly specific, and it directs these parties and these groups.
Yeah, there's no conflict.
To use what tools are at their disposal to constitutionally affect these ends.
Exactly. Now, here's the other thing. Here's one of the issues I have with this: is that burning flags is one of the primary ways of retiring them, aside from burial. The way you retire a flag, you can cut out the stars and then you burn it. And that's a respectful thing to do. If a flag is being retired, if it's been out in the weather too much, if it's fading, if it falls on the ground and you get a new one because you should, if you follow flag code to the letter, if you follow flag code, you burn the flag to retire it or you bury it. That is 100% constitutional and legal and what you ought to do. There's no question about that whatsoever.
Now, to be fair to your argument, I have never once in all of my days, since they started doing this shit in Occupy days, roughly, since they started really doing it hard and heavy. Yeah. I have never once seen the argument given that, oh, no, 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 we're only properly disposing of this flag.
Correct. Right.
That's so.
They
It's
aren't just
just a
out there
deal.
burning flags akin to the 70s when they felt like being cunts. Yes,
Yeah.
they are just being assholes out in the middle of the street.
The
And I'm
70s
not
when
saying it.
the
I'm not
Weather Underground did a lot of bombings and their leader went to jail, then
right.
later got back out and is now a professor
Yes,
teaching
yes,
our students.
exactly.
Like, oh, so
So,
many other
uh,
70s terrorists, by the way, that are now
oh,
professors
including
teaching our
including
students.
including one who has just recently passed. May God spit on her fucking grave. Uh, as should anybody who passes by it in Cuba. Asad Shakur.
Indeed. She killed a couple of feds, if I'm not mistaken, if my memory serves
Well,
correctly.
she's a cop killer,
Oh,
and
cops,
and
not
then
feds, my
people,
mistake, yeah.
yeah, she's a cop killer, and then her buddies broke her out and smuggled her to Cuba, which included violence, significant violence at the prison.
Yeah, her friends,
She
of
was
course,
not a hero.
being, the same
So
kind of friends
you know
that
the
are friends with
phrasing.
Barack
You know,
Obama.
she is responsible for the BLM phrasing, by the way. You know the little chant, the little prayer they do beforehand. You know, we have nothing to lose but our chains. We must love and support each other. That is from Asada Shakur. That is a terrorist chant. That's why it was a problem.
Hmm.
That's why that was an issue. That's why everyone knew BLM had a bunch of fucking terrorist communists running around in them. It
Hmm.
wasn't just because they came out and said we're avowed trained communists.
You don't
It's
say.
because they also used the words and ideology of other avowed trained communists, the ones who did terrorism in the United States.
You know what? You know what? Speaking of avowed communists and professors, there's one we should probably talk about, and this is going to come completely out of left field, literally and figuratively.
Well,
Yeah.
yes.
So there's a professor by the name of Dwayne Dixon. Now
Wait, Dibley.
that
Okay.
name might sound a little familiar to you, because this is a little bit of inside baseball. But Dwayne Dixon, well, he admitted to something a few years back, long after the events at Charlottesville. He admitted to pointing a rifle at a man driving a car, a
Yep.
Challenger,
Yep.
if
Yep.
I'm not
Yep.
mistaken. Uh,
He did.
a man by the name of James Fields. Well, guess what has happened? A UNC professor has responded to being put on leave for alleged affiliation with anti-rights groups and far-left gun club organizations. Gosh. After his uh, connections with the John Brown Gun Club, it has proven that
Huh.
he's maybe not as employable as once he was. Now,
Alrighty.
James Fields is still in jail. But at
That he
least,
is.
this bucking awful piece of shit is out of a job. We need to get James out of jail. He doesn't belong there. Period.
Yep.
And let me remind you, 4 days ago as of recording, it is after midnight here where we are, but 4 days ago, wherever you are, there was a concert in Las Vegas 8 years ago to the day. Country music. Jason Aldean,
Yep.
Jake Owen, and Big and Rich. To this day, to this very day, we still lack answers. We don't know.
True, yeah.
All that we know is that there are more questions today than there were even on that day. And there were a lot of questions on that day. Like rate of fire, like how you bust out a window with nothing, like how you trip and fall and shoot your head off with a single action revolver. But, whatever. Just a quick reminder. Goodness me. So anyway, back to some good stories because we are trying to wrap ourselves up here. Jane Goodall's dead. Make of that what you will. Maybe that's good news. Maybe that's bad news. Maybe she helped a lot of innocent apes. Maybe she was a shitty person too. Who knows? Make of that what you will.
Well, she was interesting person.
She was an interesting person.
With a legacy of good work that she did.
She she did do good works and other works,
Um,
but she did do
People
good
are
works
flawed.
on as well.
She did do good works. She is a flawed person, very much a flawed person.
Truly, yes.
And I'm not going to say the world isn't a wanker short, but it certainly isn't richer for having her gone.
It's very much an is what it is. I'm glad that she did some of the work that she did. It would have been nice if she cared about people as much as she cared about animals.
Yeah, that kind of gets to it.
Yeah, it's just it is what it
I don't
is.
have a whole lot of patience for that kind of intellect, and unfortunately, that was what she was.
Yep. So yeah. Anyway, let's kind of close out with something. Well, we're not quite to closing point, but we're closing her out. So, as a matter of fact, as of recording, would have been about the middle of the day here, nighttime in Tel Aviv. A massive, massive protest. Israelis want Trump's deal signed and followed through. I like it. I approve of it. We haven't mentioned it because everybody's talking about it. But
Yep.
long and short, pretty much the original borders as they sat basically on October 7th will be restored. Gaza City will be restored. That area of Palestine, as it were, will be restored, and I'd see a two-state solution. We have seen thus far Hamas representatives, yes, actual Hamas representatives, signal innocent to this. The only real fight
So the
is coming
downside
from
is they
Israelis.
did eventually say no. The Hamas has decided that they didn't want to do it, and that's the problem. Is they
Well, so has
generally,
Netanyahu, it would seem.
generally, well, of course he has, because they decided to try and add shit to it. Netanyahu agreed to the original.
And then they broke the ceasefire and blah, blah, blah. But either way,
Well, yeah, you can go in the back and forth, but again, the
well,
major
that's
problem
the
there
thing.
is
It is.
that,
It's all just a lot of back and forth. And
well,
some
again, so the Hamas will only really agree to something if it gives them a stall or it gives them a way to get an advantage. Because unless the agreement says all the Jews in Israel are dead, they're not going to agree, and that's really sad.
well, what
Because again, there's about 15% of Palestinians who don't want what's going on by vote, whereas which implies that there's more because if you
yeah, good luck
don't agree with
voting.
Hamas, then they kill you. Yeah, if you don't agree with Hamas, they just kill you.
Hope you like eating food
Right.
ever again
So
because they
that's
did
that's the
steal the
issue.
aid. We've reported on that too.
So that's the major issue with how they're handling it over there, and yeah, they're basically screwed. Um, damn it. Sorry, a
Well,
bit of
anyway,
Minecraft.
yeah, no worries. Anyway, there is some actual real movement, and it is for just my take on this. We're going to see a lot of this shit for a bit here, but now something is going to probably come of it because everyone is very tired. Israel has lost a tremendous amount of face in the world, and everybody wants this shit to be done. So we're going to probably see some more tit for tat, some more innocent people dead, some more of this, some more of that, some more yowling and crying on both sides, and it's whatever. We'll just get you the stories as they come, but it looks like this thing might be seeing its end. I pray
I hope so.
because
Like
that's
it's
what we need.
it's again like the people that are there that are just trying to live, like, and you can't just like relocate them. It's
Yeah, well,
just
they're
not a
in a pretty rough
possibility.
spot at the moment for moving around.
Yeah, it's like you can't just relocate these people. They're
It's like you got
also
Israel
this is
saying you can't get out. You got Hamas saying don't you fucking dare try to get out. You got
you got
Egypt
Egypt
that's
telling
like
them
I've
don't
got a
do it.
fucking wall that's bigger than Trump's. What the fuck are you trying?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah,
Egypt's pretty sure on not letting anybody out of, because again they just dealt with the whole fucking Arab Spring thing, and then before that, and even back to the '80s, they've been dealing with Muslim Brotherhood, and so they don't want any of that leaving the Gaza Strip, let alone possibly circling around from the West Bank. Like they've thoroughly had it the same way Jordan has had it, and having someone try to kill your monarch will kind of do that to you as a
Yeah,
country.
leave a bad taste in your mouth.
It's like, yeah, so I don't blame
I
Jordan.
mean, but then again,
Um,
bombing a U.S. carrier will also do that to you. So whatever. But anyway, moving on. We want good stories, and that's not a good story yet, but it might be. Fingers crossed. So anyway, like I said, we
uh,
want good stories, and I've got one for you. Now,
okay.
it's a little weird to be reporting on this organization in a good way, but hey, we live
But
in wild times. So,
okay.
Palantir has come out,
Ah, yes,
and they've seen
yes, yes,
the digital ID just coming down the pipe in Great Britain, and they're like, bro,
yes.
like this is what we do, and you're fucking it up, man. Like, come on. So, basically, the CEO out of Britain, I've got the little bit of the interview here. His interview with the BBC Times
This
radio.
would be our CIA plant company, by the way. This
Yeah,
Palantir.
yeah. Lewis Motley, the CEO of Palantir UK, has basically come out and said, "We ain't doing this shit. Nah, what the fuck, bro?" And to hear Palantir take a stance like that is, it's
Pretty
really
wild.
quite something. I mean, damn.
That is, I was not expecting to hear that.
No, not at all. That's
That is,
pretty.
that is a stance.
It's like, damn, here we are. Of course, another fun little one is we've got the 999 billionth study has finally come out, and finally, maybe this one will be the one that I perish the thought. This is going to blow your mind. I know the
Go
other
for it.
998 billion didn't, but this one. So anyway, it turns out that
Uh-huh.
sexy game characters doesn't make your gamers misogynistic. Golly gosh.
Oh my god!
A meta analysis of 18 separate studies.
I would not have guessed.
Wow. Isn't that crazy? That's just crazy wazy. Insane crazy driving Miss Daisy, I'm telling you. Oh man.
Some
Oh
people,
man.
man. Some
I
fucking
am telling
people.
you. So, in other I've got a final good news, but in a mixed news. It's good news that it happened. It's just kind of scary that we're discovering this because it means this is only two so far. We reported last week on a giant SIM card cell spoofing center in New York City. There's
Yes,
another
we
one.
did.
There is another one
Alrighty, they caught another one. All right.
that they
So
did.
yeah, that was the networked. That was networked phones.
And this was the
And
100,000
yeah,
SIM cards that they found. That's what we reported on last time. This recent one, they found an additional 200,000 at a New Jersey location. That's two in the last 2 weeks. How many of these are there? One has to wonder. Because we didn't get them all.
well, certainly not. No, I think that's what's we probably haven't cracked the one.
Oh, the
My
one and
guess
then
is
the
the reason
next
the other one.
that's going to give us a lot of inroads because
I'm thinking, yeah.
we've got
I'm
an
thinking.
idea of how they work, where they work, what they do. You know.
Well, more importantly, we also know what SIM cards, what batches, what manufacturers,
Mm,
what logistics routes.
yeah, hardware that they're running, that sort of thing. Yeah.
We know typically where, when, and how at this point. So we're coming, which is good. Because that by the way, that capability to fuck cell towers, a lot of stuff that's important, everyday stuff for routine things uh, like ensuring all the traffic lights clear out a path for fire trucks, that kind of stuff, for
Mm-hmm.
ambulances. A lot of stuff runs on cell signals. a lot.
That's a fact.
Like a stupidly large amount of stuff runs on cell signals, and that is critical infrastructure. Um, so we got to be on top of that shit when we find something like this.
Mm-hmm. Kind of like when you find an extension cord running into a warehouse that's using a surprisingly large amount of water and find out they're manufacturing drugs and who knows what the fuck else. Look that one
Right.
up. That was a fun story we reported on as well.
Or yeah, the Chinese biolab.
Yeah, yeah. Just chilling out in and around Redondo Beach, just making some bioweapons here and there as you do.
Yeah, in the middle of all the COVID shit, it's like, guys, even if I wanted to come to your aid on this one, you'd making it real fucking hard, right?
Yeah.
I mean, come
It's
the
like
fuck on.
even if I want to rub you wrong time, I can't, man.
Even if I believed whatever you're doing was in the right, and somehow I had knowledge of something other than making bioweapons,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's it's the guy in the hot dog costume. Who could have done this?
Crazy stuff. So, and here's a super fast, neato bit of news out of Japan. Since we kind of, once Biden came in, he just
I'll
kind of
give us
said,
a hard cut at two. All right.
well, I've got one last one after this. So,
Okay.
Japan picked up the ball on railgun tech, and they now have a good functioning railgun. So, they're going to probably
Yeah.
start fielding
Yeah.
it.
We the stuff we decided to stop doing, they picked up and ran with. It's great.
Yes, sir. And in our closer, mm, yeah, I'll say that for next time. So in our closer tonight, we've got an update. Fuck it, we'll do both. Out of the DOJ, the one they're coming down on California saying, what the fuck are you doing? Delaying people's rights to purchase and own firearms. The DOJ
Yeah, that's a good one.
has come down on California, and we'll see where it plays, but they're basically laying down the law saying you're fucking around. That's
Yeah.
the long and short. There's a little bit more to it, but
It's
we'll
it's
kind
gonna
of
be
want to
find
wait
out season
until
2.
there's something to it to tell you more. But this is a complete flip of the script, so it's cool to see. But another here, and this one is kind of a big deal. Out of a federal court in Alabama, we reported on this at the time that it was implemented when Biden's ATF/DOJ changed what it means to be, quote, engaged in the business of for the sales of guns. And as a matter of fact, that allowed them to do that late night raid on the Clinton staffer and just shoot him to fucking death because they could. Well,
True, yeah.
that rule doesn't exist anymore. Butler versus Bondi, U.S. District Court Judge Corey L. Mays in the Northern District of Alabama's Eastern District as of September 30th this year. Plaintiffs, including Don Butler and David Glidewell, along with the NRA, challenged the rule's broad interpretation of what it means to be engaged in the business, and, well, that challenge is accepted. So, let me see here if there's a...
Very good.
Yeah, so it's the whole engaged in the business to mean a regular course of trade or business involving repetitive purchase or resale, not isolated to sales. So the court also struck down the rule's definition of predominantly earn a profit as well. Excellent. Further, the judge invalidated the exclusion of personal protection firearms from the safe harbor of personal collections. Excellent. And, oh, there we go. A complete statutory win. Now, it's not... They can come back and challenge later, but I mean, this is pretty open and shut. So it's pretty much done. That's not a bad deal.
Very good.
And the last one, import restrictions got lowered, so some American gun companies can ship guns and products overseas again. So there you go. There's a rapid fire, some cool gun news, and I'd say we hit a lot of the high points. Definitely hit a lot of the low points that I know nobody else is going to get around to. That's what we do. So everybody, thank you so much for being here, Craig. Good talking with you, brother.
Yep.
You can find him at CraigBob99.
As always.
I'm Evan at that fake guy Dan. Now, unfortunately, our man Steve was not able to make it, but if you'd like to look up our resident nuclear tech, you can find him at Ratman720. And everybody.
Oh, no. Don't do that to him. He's a nuclear engineer.
Our resident engineer. Anyway, been a pleasure, everybody. Share the show with everybody, anywhere and everywhere. We're out here making it happen because it's the right thing to do. And if you could help us out, we'd really appreciate it. All you got to do, just share the link around. That's all it takes. So be good, everybody. All my love, Craig. Been a pleasure. And all
Yep.
listeners and viewers and interactors and commenters, thanks. See you soon.